Night Owls.
Turn on Night Owls.
to Wolves. Southampton drew 1-1 at home to Manchester United. And Don Everly, the surviving member of the rock and roll duo the Everly Brothers, has died at the age of 84. He passed away at his home in Nashville. From Sky News, I'm Charlotte Fisher.
Greatest Hits Radio.
And now, the forerunner to Facebook, where your words tell 1,000 Instagrams. Use your phone for making that call. And get talking across the northeast, please. Because this is Night Owls with Alan Robson.
Welcome everybody, Alan Robson with you. It is of course Greatest Hits Radio Northeast. Thank you so much for joining us. Bruce Springsteen in concert, that's pretty spectacular. For your Sunday nights, pretty damn good. But we're starting you off with a challenge like we always do. Thanks to everybody watching on Facebook, YouTube, etc. Good to have you clagging us up on the big screen. Lot to talk about, so let's dive in. The main challenge tonight is things you must do before you pop your clogs. And I must admit, I've got 3 fairly ambitious ones. One is to own a guitar like the violin bass that Paul McCartney once had. Oh, probably still has. I just think they're a beautiful instrument. Secondly, I'd love to go to Japan. And thirdly, I'd love to do a ghost hunt on Alcatraz. Big asks. Possibly may just not happen. But I'd like them. That's it. So what 3 things would you like to do before you plop your clogs? Oh, clop your clogs. Which way you want to take it. 3 things you're going to do before you die, essentially. So let's have a think about that and having Thug send them in. Also, we hear that pubs could be running out of beer by the weekend. At first they said it was to do with no truck drivers being able to deliver them because of being pinged. Now we hear that the real problem is a border blockade. Europe are not sending a lot of stuff across, and they're blockading British ports because they're not prepared to pay the money that had been covered by our entrance into the EU. So there's a huge blockade and we're not getting foodstuffs. Also, here's the thing. Do you think it would be all right to marry your stepsister? You're not legally related, other than they're your stepbrother or stepsister. A couple's just got married and they're really happy. They get on so well and the da-di-da. Is it right, though? That's a question. Now we hear, after wearing masks for 18 months, that masks only offer 10% protection against anything. 10%? Blimey. Really? That's not much. That means 90% of stuff can still get through a mask. Donald Trump's deal with the Taliban was shambolic because obviously now Joe Biden taking the troops out, as agreed by Trump. But because Biden's taken them out, Trump's now saying, oh, he's given in, he's surrendered and all of that. Well, it was following on from the deal he did with the Taliban. Britain are now asking Russia and China for help. Now, Russia went in and they got kicked out too by the Taliban. So, what do we do? Do we go in again? How do we deal with this? Also, stories about UFOs and sci-fi. Going to be talking to somebody that we met this week from a sci-fi museum. Oh my goodness. Interesting place. And America say they won't help if it kicks off in Afghanistan. How do you save those wanting to be free? That's the question. And we hear now that the French may well be Frexiting. Now, some people say, oh, that means that Britain was right to exit. Other people say, no. Britain's worse off. Europe's worse off because everything was working and now it's not working. Obviously, we got the blockade at the borders and lots of people coming over that we'd rather didn't. So all the people that said leave are now said, oh, we were right. And all the people that said, oh, you'd be wrong to leave, they're saying they're right too. So nothing's changed there. Should songs be rewritten to keep them politically correct? Now, frankly, about 3/4 of all rock songs would have to be re-recorded. But the Weather Girls have had one of their songs messed with to make them woke. Instead of It's Raining Men, it's raining them. Them meaning people that you love. It's raining them. So it's raining men if you're into men. It's them, it's women. It's whatever you're in love with. Which opens the door for every kind of alternative lifestyle. Plus a few deviancies, it has to be said. Also, the hate preacher Chowdhury is demanding that the Taliban get tougher and cut people's hands off for stealing and stone people to death for committing adultery and all of that. He wants to tell the people, the Taliban in Afghanistan, how to rule their own country. Why don't we just say, okay, we're going to deport you to Afghanistan? Do you not think that would be a cool move? Because back in the day, you know, kings and queens were not adverse to exiling people. Why don't we start exiling a few that are harmful to this country? Apparently, British people waste 43% of all of the food that we buy. How about that? And also, Terry McDermott, ex-Liverpool, England and Newcastle United, of course, became fairly friendly with me in my time at St James's Park, and we have just heard the really sad news that Terry's suffering from dementia, so we send love to him and all of his family. What a damn shame. I could guarantee every single week when I was playing tunes, he would ask for Rescue Me by Fontella Bass. Every week. Play it again, huh? All right. Now, how about this? Restaurants are hiring prisoners from prison. You know, they get out of prison to go and work in a restaurant because Brits don't want to do the job and foreign workers won't come to this country because of Brexit. So next time you're in a restaurant, your plate could be handled by a poisoner, a rapist, or a murderer. How do you feel about that? Crazy world we are living in at present. And also, do you know anybody who looks better after cosmetic surgery? That's the thing. They did a feature on it and they showed a whole batch of people who had had cosmetic surgery and they all kind of looked worse. So do tell. 01914 488 3188. I would love to hear your stories. Also, I got an email from Paul who asked me about constipation. He's suffering from that at the present moment. It has been for almost a week, and he is in a lot of pain, which leads me to find something else that, well, frankly, may just make him feel better or worse. And now she hasn't been in the loo for 3 months, so yeah. Was the instruction, give it to the child, then stand well back?
Not really, but maybe should have been. So never mind, when I came in from work, and my mum kept saying, well, she's got stomach pains, but she was swelling from the chest by this stage,
right.
And I knew she was really bloated. And I kept saying to her every day, please try and go to the toilet, please try. And I would sit with her for hours in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Just thinking, I would talk to her about anything and everything, just hoping she would, like, forget about things. And
In my experience, though, you can't talk a turd out. You really can't.
Well, you try anything though when you're desperate, Alan. So never mind. And I was thinking, oh, God, she's had this turbo stuff, and now I've got to get home.
Yeah.
What if I get halfway home and it kicks in and it works? I've had it here.
Just sit in this carrier bag.
So never mind. We got home, and she had to have another dose about 5:30 in the afternoon, so we gave her that. And she was actually sick. She said, Mum, it's really horrible and I can't take this.
Right.
6 o'clock. Get out the way, Mum, I need the lid. Went from 6 till about 8 o'clock. She literally didn't get off the toilet, God love her.
Yeah, you can imagine. Also, how long have you dated the person that you're with? And how long is it before you move in? One of the magazines in the week said, before you move in with anybody, you should know them thoroughly, by overnight stays and stuff, for at least 3 months. Some people have been sweethearts since they went to school together. He's your first boyfriend since being at school.
Mm-hmm. You get the feeling inside.
Oh.
It's like people say, oh, what you on about? You're just being daft. Mm-hmm. But I knew from the first time I saw him.
Right.
So it was like I was 16. We were engaged within the first 6 months.
Wow.
We've been married 6 years in September, but we've actually been together 10 years.
How about that? Can you beat it? Give me a call. And how long do you think you should be together with somebody? Few other things for you. We talk today about how do all of these people who are desperate to get out of Afghanistan, how do they do it? Do we help them? Do we help ordinary people who are office workers who just want freedom? What do we do? Well, here's a call from 18 months ago when we were talking about exactly the same thing, how to escape death in Afghanistan.
We were doing a patrol. We should patrol around this big port in Iraq.
Right.
And I don't know, I'm using my hands for it to show you this thing, but you're not seeing.
I'm watching.
There was this basically huge door. It was a 24-hour place and it was always open.
Right.
And we went to it one night and it was locked and all the lights were off and it should not have been locked. All the lads were to my left in front of us and I was talking to my section commander straight in front of us.
Right.
And basically, we're talking about what should we do, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Then something said, step back. I took a step back, then all of a sudden there was a crack if someone took a shot at her.
Whoa.
And then, anyway, after all this commotion finished, we looked at where I was standing and at the wall. If I had stood where I was standing before I stepped back, the bullet would have went in my head. We worked out possibly it would have hit us either way. And that really, at the time, I didn't really think much of it. Then a few weeks later, we're driving, we're doing the same patrols, different scenario. We were going back to camp, and we drove down this road thousands of times, and something said to us, pull over, slow down and pull over. Right. So I told the driver, slow down, and says, pull over out next to them cars, eh? So we pulled over next to these cars. I've seen all these guys, and they looked a bit shifty, so we went over to them. And as we went over to them, one of them threw a hand grenade under a vehicle. Wow. But he was so... but luckily, he was a bit thick. He certainly forgot to pull the pin. Oh. And there was another guy across the road. They ran off, and they were planting a roadside bomb.
How about that? Tried to escape from Iraq. How about this year we're escaping from Afghanistan? Should we go back in? John Haley says his 3 things he'd like to do before he pops. Go to Glastonbury. Just so avoid the toilets. Go to Paris to visit Jim Morrison's grave, shrine and the catacombs. Sneaking 3 in there in one. And win the lottery and create my own musical festival starring all my friends in rock bands. Help finance some of my friends' music careers. Wonderful, John. That's a corking threesome. What 3 things would you do? We're also going to give you the chance to create a National Health Service music chart. I'll tell you more about that a little bit later on. But let's get to the game. Whatever you wish to talk about, let us do some of that. And we are kicking off with an absolutely fantastic bit of music. And it is, of course, by the amazing band Earth, Wind and Fire. Now, Earth, Wind and Fire, you could pick a variety of songs by this particular band. But if you were going to say which one will draw your attention rather more than any other, well, in fact, there is only one track that it could be, and it is, of course, the magnificent, and it is magnificent, a Boogie Wonderland.
But going to leave the door where it is for the moment. Why are we here? We were told that there have been a few deaths here. There have been ghostly experiences happening in the house. Within the next half hour or so, we're going to go up there and check out that property to see if there's anything at all. After that, we're heading down to a place that's supposed to be the home of the trolls. And yes, there were small people who were said to live in this neck of the woods. More importantly, there's a whole host of stories about the Border Reivers, bloody, gory, unpleasant tales. And we're going to be right where they were executed, which is amazing. So we're in search of the troll of the bridge. We haven't found the troll yet.
Not yet, but we will.
But we aim to do that. Yeah. We're just hoping the weather improves just a tad. If it does, we'll be down there within the hour. However, first things first, when Neil, who runs this emporium with his wife, Lisa, being dragged along screaming behind him, when he was working down here, he heard things, he felt things, he heard whispers and voices of small children. So what will we get when we're down here? Will we get anything? We certainly hope so. It's quite a small museum as well, but it's got an awful lot packed into it.
Like the TARDIS.
Like the TARDIS that's standing outside. Yeah. We hope to show you that. However, this guy is so keen on Doctor Who, he's got another TARDIS inside. But for now, let's see if we can actually pale inside. And you know, it's one thing coming on when all the lights are flashing and you've got Doctor Who noises and what have you. It's a whole other thing with the green lights of, I'm not even sure we're going to need a torch for this. No. But first of all, let's have a walk around to check out our area. And then we'll see if we can pick anything up while we're down here.
That was the door. Please tell me that door wouldn't shut before.
That door wouldn't shut?
It still hasn't shut, look.
No, hang on. That's ridiculous because we heard that loud and clear. It was the front door. I hope you got that. Please tell us that you caught that. Right, let's keep going.
What a start.
That is a great start. We know that this is a small space jam-packed full of incredible things that you guys can see on your way around. I don't know how much you can see. The one thing I will say, do you remember that thing that we did when we were in one of the pubs with the reflection?
Yeah.
We may be able to do something
like that, yeah.
Like that here. We'll try that a little bit later on. Gets a lot darker through here. Just if you are a science fiction fan, and I know many of you are, this is an absolute must of a place to come to. Whoa, we'll go through there later, and we're going to come around there. I remember when I was working on TV, I had a TV series with Time Tees, and at the end of the year, there was a quiz where they put various celebrities on teams. Mm-hmm. And Fraser Hines was the host. Right. And I was on one of the teams with Denise Welsh. And Fraser Hines took a real dislike to me because they asked a question, and it was about the answer was deja vu. You know, what do you call that feeling when you feel like you've been to a place before? Right. Well, they asked a question, and two people answered it at once, and they said, "Oh, that's not acceptable. We only have one person." So when Fraser Hines came and asked the question, he went, "What do you call and I went, "Deja vu." And I thought that was really funny. Yeah. He didn't think it was funny at all. And he asked me it 3 or 4 times. And afterwards he came up and says, "Why did you try and make me look stupid like that?" And I didn't try and make him look stupid. I just thought it was funny. Anyway. I know. I'm saying that was, I was the some people. I should have played the game. Mind you, if you just stop for a second. Did you hear that?
I heard that. What was that?
I know. I said, everybody just stop. Everybody stopped, and there was still.
Was it from above?
Yes.
There's no one in the house.
So what the hell was that then? It was from above. Oh.
And again.
It's solid stone,
It's
isn't
stone.
it? You cannot make that happen from upstairs.
No, it's stone.
Nah, that's. I'm just going to tap on it with my ring.
Okay.
What was that? If you bounce, it doesn't make that noise.
No.
I don't know whether you can get through here, Tony, without us.
I've just put a router there, so hopefully it'll work.
Just look down there. There's 1,000 images, and I bet we get on reflection. Anybody that picks something up, if you see something, it's amazing. Look at that. Did you hear that boom upstairs again? Boom.
Where's that coming from?
Upstairs. Boom. I'm hearing little.
Little footsteppy kind of noises.
Now, Neil said that around this place, this corridor used to run right the way along, and young children used to run the entire length from here through to, there's like a pub or something next door. They used to run through the pub, and while he was working on cleaning up the brickworks and putting in all of these amazing display cabinets, he would hear whispering and children's voices, but he never mentioned that you could clearly hear stuff from upstairs. Do you get that as well?
Oh, well, none of us are moving here. None of us are moving.
If there's anybody there, whisper to us, talk to us. Talk to us. Speak to us. We're here for you. Talk to us. Are you hearing that? It's from the house upstairs.
It is from upstairs. From here.
I'm getting it still. There.
Like a rumble.
There was a rumble there, no?
There's an old staircase behind that creature.
Whoa. And when you see the eyes on this sucker as well.
Yeah.
You've got to be careful, there's the odd cobweb as well. One brushed my face before, and at first I thought, oh, no, I haven't. Now, that's part one of the museum.
Share.
Yeah. Oh, you bugs. Ow. Please, please share if you possibly can. If you do, you'll get a goodie bag that can have a mixture of all kinds of stuff in it. And it will also definitely have one of our near legendary night owl badges. So if you want that, share with as many people as you can for two reasons. One, we want to grow our audience. Two, we want to grow our supporters. Oh, third reason, we want more people to come to this incredible sci-fi museum. Now, you think, well, it's only tiny and it's only in a basement. Yes, it is, but he's used every inch of space. Now, who else used every inch of space? It was, of course, the man who had the TARDIS. And did you hear that behind you, Tony?
Was that behind?
It was behind.
Was it behind that?
It was behind you.
I thought it was down there.
You thought it was down
I
there?
thought it was down this way.
I didn't. Maybe it was down that way.
I thought it was down there.
Well, that's the door. Jeepers, come on.
Don't do that.
Right, and then you come into this place, which is this is just heaven for anybody that likes Doctor Who. This is all Doctor Who from this point on, all the way through. Now, to me, aside.
Okay, now we got a few people with their top threes coming in nice and steady. Keep the NHS songs coming in. Had a couple of them. Let your be and your no be no. Classic song, yeah, pioneers back in the day. Sir Puke we've had, was not quite so good. And a tribute to either Kiss or the Rolling Stones, depending which song they're thinking of. Sick It Up. Could be Started Up or Lick It Up, you see, so it could go either way. And the other one is My Corona. Oh, there you go, don't want to get into that. So, National Health Service songs, let's get some of them. But Catherine is with us, she's in Winlayton. Hi, Catherine.
Hi, Alan, are you all right?
I'm good, lass. What can we do for you?
Well, I was just wanting to mention that years ago, I used to love listening to Night Owls at 10 o'clock with me on Metro Radio.
Hey, there you go, back in the day.
Oh, we used to love it. Honest, we used to sit in bed, put the radio on for 10 o'clock, and that would be it.
That was the law. You'd have been arrested if you didn't. That's what you had to do back in the day.
Exactly.
Lovely stuff. So I hope you're well, are you?
Oh, definitely, yes.
Champion.
Definitely well.
Good stuff. Anything else while you're on then?
Well, just that you were on about how long you've been with your partner, or if they'd moved in that. I've been with my partner for 26 years.
Whoa.
I'm not married or nothing.
Right.
But we've got two beautiful little children as well.
Well, you see, that just shows how much you feel for one another. If you've been able to escape all of that time and you haven't, you've chosen to stay. How long before you shacked up together then, you two?
Well, from day one, then we moved in more or less about 2 years later.
2 years. So you had 2 years living with your mums and dads, presumably.
Well, me nana.
Yeah, nana, right.
Yeah, me nana.
And then...
nana was my mother.
So how did your nana feel about him, though? I bet she was super protective about you.
No, she loved him.
Really?
My previous partner, she could tell, but with him, she knew he was the one.
Oh,
she knew he was a good lad.
What was so special about him that made you so sure, though?
Well, he was just a good lad. He looked after us. He looked after me nana.
Right.
He was just a good lad.
Nice big heart. Well, hey, congratulations. Great to hear that such a thing still exists, because people get cynical about it. Thank you, Catherine.
Right, thank you very much, Alan.
Take care, love. All the best. Bye-bye. There you go. You see, the way to a woman's heart quite often is via a relative or two, to show that you give a damn about what they give a damn about. Beth is with us in Wrighton, and I think this is something ghostly that happened this week. Hi, Beth.
Hello, you all right?
I'm very well. Thank you for calling in. What happened this week then, Beth?
It was on Friday night, so just this Friday.
Right.
It was about 9:30. We'd been for a drive up to Sweet Hope Bluff, like a big lake thing.
Yes, beautiful.
On the way back down the Military Road, and I don't know if you know, but near the Onham Cavalry Fort,
right,
just off the Roman Wall.
Yeah.
I was driving, it wasn't foggy or anything like that, and the road bears up to the left.
Right.
And I thought there was a walker in the middle of the road. I thought nothing else of it because it's the Roman Wall, so you can see them.
Yeah, tourists and stuff, you would expect people to be about, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly, but this wasn't a tourist. This figure was black. I didn't see a head. Legs were moving as if it was walking.
Right.
But then it just drifted off. I have seen things in the past and quite a few times, but this was different. This wasn't nice. I had an awful feeling like my breath got took away. I felt drained all of a sudden, and I had to really fight back the tears. I felt so teary.
And so you weren't the only one in the car, or were you?
No, so I was with my partner and the baby was in the back.
Right.
My other half doesn't see things, so he was none of the wiser.
Wow.
But he noticed that I wasn't all right and then asked what had happened, and I'd said I'd seen someone or something, and yeah, it wasn't pleasant.
How does he deal with it? Does he go, oh yeah, I'm just seeing something again, or did he take it? Does he take it seriously?
No, he does take it seriously. He does believe in the supernatural, just hasn't seen anything.
Right.
So he just asked me details like what I seen. What did it look like? What was it doing?
In a way, Beth, your relationship with your guy is like most women's relationship with a bloke. It's like you're driving along the road, taking care and watching the road, and there's a ghost in the middle of the road. The woman, of course, sees it, and he's looking out the window going, oh, look, there's a rabbit. Do you know what I mean? It's the difference between the sexes right there. Or a bloke will look around and go, what?
Yeah.
Frustrating. But you're absolutely sure you saw it. This was not something, you weren't thinking of, oh, this is the Roman wall, there'll be dead people about here. I mean...
No, nothing. I didn't even know there was anything historical there. It was dark, so all I could see was what was in front of us. But I've seen various things before, but never, ever, ever felt like that. It was horrible.
And this, you couldn't make out any kind of clothing. It walked like a human being would walk, but it was just all black.
All black, no head, just the back of somebody, but without the head.
But with that, yeah, that's kind of important. But this is amazing though, because the first things that I saw that were not human, and it sounds daft talking about it, but I didn't believe for years and years and years, and I started to see these things out the corner of my eye, and they were dark shapes of people, men and women, but like, almost like moving silhouettes, kind of. And there was a little bit of detail, but not really as much, because it was corner of your eye, and you can't make it out quite so well. And when you turn, of course, the fronts of your eye can't see these damn things, which is even more frustrating. But just really interesting that you, again, on a black night, if you think about it, pitch black night, it's late, and something black crosses the road, but because of your headlights, you stand a really good chance to catch at least a glimpse, and that's seems like what you got. And you say it just disappeared.
Yeah, so I even slowed down for it, thinking it was a person. But previously, I've seen things quite vivid. So I've seen a Victorian nurse in Corbridge. I could make out exactly what she was wearing with her bonnet, the long cloak she had on, all sorts.
Whereabouts in Corbridge was that?
As if you were to come in from the A69 end,
yes,
and you've got all the big houses on your right.
And you pass the garage on your right also later on once you get into the main bit.
Yeah, that road. So further up there, there's now some sort of hospital-y care home sort of place.
Yeah.
And that did used to be a hospital back in the day.
That's right.
And that's where she was standing on the entrance to there, clear as day.
Wow, my goodness. You see, some people can see and have seen and are open to it. And some people from birth have been trained by parents and school teachers and vicars especially that none of this exists, so they don't open themselves to it. But blimey, what a spot. Well done, and thank you for telling us about it, though, because these are the kind of things that a skeptic needs to see. Because unless they see it themselves, then they're not going to be into it at all. That's the difference. But hey, lovely talking to you, Beth. Thank you very much. I know somebody that once emergency stopped, and they were doing something like 60 on a motorway, and emergency stopped for exactly what you saw, and they almost died by driving through someone, if you know what I mean. And then they get out thinking, how come the car's not marked? And they're sideways on a motorway with their hearts going like a rock concert. Amazing. But Beth, thank you very much. Great to hear from you, love.
No bother, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Beth there in Wrighton. And how about that for those that either believe or don't believe? Good to have them on. Stuff coming in. This was the first thing, so I want to read it. It's just a disgraceful behaviour. At first I thought Neil was talking about me, but apparently not. It says, hi Alan, can I just drop something into your programme? Today I was in a local town centre when I saw a traffic warden get off of her motorbike, which was parked on double yellow lanes. I stood for a while, but didn't make it obvious that I was watching her. Then she then proceeded, after a few minutes, to place a ticket on a car nearby. So I confronted her about her bike being illegally parked. She then realised I'd taken a picture of her bike parked illegally and removed the ticket from the car and shouted, busybodies like you should mind their own business. Can you believe that? Caught red-handed and her ego damaged beyond repair. Unbelievable. Neil from South Shields. Thank you, Neil. Have you witnessed a similar hypocrisy? 0191 488 3188. Tonight on the show, you're going to be hearing Marty Pell from Where We're talking about stuff. Paul Heaton from A Beautiful South talking about stuff. Belinda Carlisle and Eddie Grant talking about stuff. Yeah, the stars come out tonight and on Greatest Hits Radio Northeast. Let's go to Blythe and get another one of you. And this is Bernie. Hi, Bernie.
Hi, Alan.
Hello, love. What can we do for you?
Right, the NHS song.
Yes, oh, good girl.
Bee Gees classic, Alive and Talking.
Alive. I'm just alive and talking. Brilliant.
It works, yeah?
It works, absolutely.
And the other thing was me bucket list.
Oh, right. What's your 3 then?
Right, I want to go to the Grand Canyon and go down into the Grand Canyon on horseback.
What proper cowboy stuff.
I wanted to do that for as long as I can remember.
Right.
And I was brought up with horses, so that's sort of where that comes from.
Oof,
but it's just something I'll probably never do, but I would like to.
Well, the bottom line is you've had that on your mind, and if we're lucky with the lottery, you never know.
You never know what's going to happen. I've had weird things happen to me that people wouldn't believe, and it's just, whoa, mind-blowing.
Yeah, and I just think that the fact that every time you'll see anything that features the Grand Canyon, you go, and because I do that when I see people in, it's usually when I see a Jackie Chan film or some James Bond movie where they're travelling through Japan and everything looks sleek and cool and different. Yeah. I'd really fancy it.
Just makes you think about it a little bit more.
Yeah, no, absolutely, probably never happened, but given the chance, I'd be there on a bullet train. But cowboy fashion through the Grand Canyon, that's pretty sassy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see myself doing it. It may happen, it may not. We shall see.
Fingers crossed, always. What's your other ones then?
My other one, I want to go to Egypt.
Right.
Find the pyramids and just see what's there.
Uh-huh.
But what other people can't see, if you get my drift.
Oh, you want to go Indiana Jones on it?
I want to do like a ghost hunt.
All right. Is he in Egypt? How cool that would be.
In Egypt. I did. I was regressed to a past life many years ago.
Uh-huh.
And I was in Egypt in one of the Egyptian temples with all the cats and everything.
Right, uh-huh.
So I think if I actually went there, that might be quite interesting.
Might unlock a few more things
that's
trapped in your mind.
Yeah,
wow.
That'd be quite good.
Yeah, brilliant. And the third one?
My third one is within reach if I'm really, really lucky.
Uh-huh.
Because I want to go on a ghost hunt with you at Chilli Castle.
Oh, well, that is possible.
That is a definite possible.
It is on the list. Well, make sure you have you written in yet or not?
I haven't yet. I'm going to email Tony.
Make sure you do. No, that's
name onto the list. I haven't been very well health-wise at the minute. So.
Right. I will make sure you get yourself fit first, and then.
Oh, I will, because that would just be too many dreams come true all in one go.
Yeah, mind you, castles being castles, there's loads of stairs up, and there's loads of stairs down, in every corner. That's the problem.
You've got all the bits in the middle that make it, though.
No, that's true. But there's the Devil's Mail, which if you walk it is 2 mile. So you've just got to be aware that there's it's not like sitting somewhere. It's fairly physical, I'm afraid, Chilli. There's no getting
I'm
around.
all right walking. I'm just not very fast walking.
Ah, well, that's all right. We can wait for you. That's all
fine,
right.
Because the more you plod along, the more you hear and the more you see.
That is exactly correct. So, hey, make sure you do. Anything else then, Bernie?
No, I think that's it. And obviously, just keep up the good work. All of you are doing fantastic.
Well, we'll try our best. Thank you very much, Bern. All the best.
Okay,
Cheers.
love to everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank you. There you go. And an NHS song. Couple more have come in. You ain't vaccine nothing yet. Kinda. Brown jobby in the pan. La 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 la. Needles and pins. Joanne says, I can't stop the pain. Okay, bedpans are burning. I'll porter all over the ward. Kind of works. 0191 488 3188. Get your NHS songs in as well. We could do with them. Meanwhile, we'll pop across to Gateshead where we've got Cliff. Hi, Cliff.
Hi, Alan.
Hello, mate. What are you talking about tonight?
I'm in the QEs down here. I was on you last week.
I remember. We were hoping you'd be free by now. What's the crack?
Oh, terrible. I've been kept over by the physiotherapist, and I always have the last word, you know what I mean?
Right.
They said my bed was 2 inches too low for them to shuffle for me to shuffle from the bed onto the chair. And I've been doing it for years and years, So they wanted to put a hoist in my house. Well, it's just ridiculous. They need a hoist, you know what I mean?
So they're not going to send you home till there's a hoist in your house?
That's what they're trying to put onto us, but it's just bloody ridiculous,
But you've been doing it for years, and you've told them that you've done it for years.
Aye, and they're coming this crack with us, so I'm still in here. I'm hoping to get out tomorrow morning, but we'll see, But I come on to tell you about I was on about Dino.
Yes.
The lad that was next to us the other night.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, his cancer got worse, Oh my God. And I had to rush him out to the hospice, And he died 2 weeks later.
Oh, no.
It's a shame, He was one of these mountaineers.
Right.
Who went up the mountain first without the ropes and all of them.
Jeepers, right.
Not a lead man. He was only 20 in Britain. And he was a real well-known kid, Real nice lad and everything, It was tragic,
Absolutely. Loved his friends and family. I'm so sorry to hear that. The thing that I know we've been talking about little else other than COVID over the past however long, and yet it's that other C word that seems to... And they seem to turn mountain men, people who are tough as boots,
fit as rocks,
and turn them inside out. Horrible to see. Horrible to see.
I just hope his family's listening, because...
love to them, absolutely.
Just lovely lad, Lovely lad. And you see he was climbing the walls with a piano, Literally climbing the walls, until they give him all the pain because they could, then they transferred him to that section where they've got the stronger painkillers.
Yeah.
But he phoned us up the night before he died, and he knew he was gonna go, and it was horrible,
What did he say to you?
Just, Well, I said to Roy, I knew he was going on, It was really tragic.
But you must have really made a bond with him, though, for him to feel the need to, to get back in touch.
I really liked the kid, honestly, God.
Sounds
one
like
of the best kids I've ever met in my life,
Sounds like he felt the same way about you.
He was over in Malta, for 30 years. And he had a sports shop, like a mountain shop in Malta,
Right.
And when all this COVID started 2 years ago, it wiped him out.
Right.
So he had to come back to Britain, and all of a sudden he's got this cancer, and he's ended up dying of cancer. So, you know what I mean?
Never know what's round the corner. Sometimes it's sugar, sometimes it's vinegar. My goodness.
I know, it is. I couldn't even get out to see him.
Yeah.
It's just like cold. It's that lockdown with the COVID,
Yeah.
I couldn't even get to see him. I know, it was terrible, just awful.
Eat you up.
No, it was an awful situation. I wouldn't wish it on anybody,
No, of course
not. Anyway, that's all I come.
Thanks for telling us, bud. It's super sad news.
Sorry, cancer patients should be getting more attention. What they are.
Absolutely, 100%. There's no question about that. No question. Yeah. Hey, Cliff, get the hell out of there first chance you get, man.
I can't try.
I think we're gonna have to do one of those things where, from The Great Escape, we're gonna have to dig a tunnel, get you over the wire. Gonna have to do something to get you out of there. Hey,
I'll do something, mate. I'll tell you. I'll do something.
But good luck. Let's hope it's soon. Thanks for coming on, man. Take care.
And we've still got to do that trip where I was on with that dream I had.
No, I heard that. I'm still on for it.
Real, that.
Not a problem. We'll do that. Thanks for calling. There's Cliff in Gateshead, who had a particularly vivid dream that we're going to get into at some point. This has just come in, and it's from Andy, and it's about relationship length. He says, I got with my missus when we were at school. She fell pregnant when she was 14 and I was 15. A year later, we had our first daughter when I was 16 and she was 15. We're now 34 and 36 with an 18-year-old, a 16-year-old and a 6-year-old daughter, and we're still going strong. And we don't hate each other as much as you would think. Never married, but proof of a good relationship doesn't need a piece of paper to prove it. There you go. Andy there. Thank you, Andy. Didn't name his lady, but they're obviously They're obviously a good match. Tony Best, 3 things I'd like to do before I die, says Tony. Andrea, Sharon and Caroline Core. Yep. You can't really argue with that. Anyway, Karina from Sunderland is up next. Hello, Karina.
Hi there, Alan.
Hello, love. What you got for me?
Just some NHS songs.
Oh, good, lass. What you got then?
I've got Fever by Peggy Lee.
Perfect.
I've got Hot Flush instead of Hot Stuff by Donna Summer.
I get a hot flush, baby, this evening. Yeah, that works.
And Doctor Doctor by the Thompson Twins.
Doctor, or if you're a rocker, there was another version by UFO, which is very, very different. But Doctor Doctor fits perfectly. Excellent. Good job.
So that was all I wanted to
That's all right. That's all.
I want to say, really.
Champion. Thank you very much for taking part, all the same.
All the best, Alan.
Thanks, Karina. Bye-bye. My Karina. Dave Birdsey is on. He has a good... Oh, dear me. David in Cullercoats has stolen the National Health Service Songs Competition. I'm sorry. I will be very surprised if anybody beats this. David in Cullercoats. Hi, Alan. Here's a good NHS tune. The Police... Now, can I just say, Tony and Christopher next door, pay attention to this. This is probably the best one of the night. The Police, Don't Stand So Close to Me. There you go. Brilliant. He's going to get one. Yeah, he deserves it. Well done, Dave in Cullercoats. Can you beat that? National Health Service songs. 01914 883188. Now, incidentally, tonight, our competition, you can win yourself one of our Night Owl mugs, as we mentioned, and it's all about identifying a television programme, a classic, a greatest hit of its time TV show. But can you name the TV show? Tough one tonight. Or easy if you like the TV show, maybe. Tell you more about that in a second. Time for a piece of music. And I told you that the stars were coming out at night. And they are. Beginning with Wet, Wet, Wet's Marty Pello. What's the worst thing that's ever happened to your body? The Marty Pello, much beloved body. Accidents, operations, screaming pain.
Oh.
How have you suffered?
Oh, I've been forever falling off stage with these ankles of mine. So I mean, there's been a few times I've went on stage and with a singular crutch, working the pirate look, Arjun lad. But lucky enough, God blesses me. I've been pretty healthy, cat. I've been pretty lucky that way. And long may it last.
Good. Okay. What about fears? You got any rational or irrational fears?
Well, I think antique furniture. No, I think what's the one? I'm not very good at the usual things like creepy crawlies and stuff like that. I'm not very good at that kind of thing. I think that kind of scare me a wee bit.
Okay.
But hey. Do you know what? What can you say? Is it just me or are spiders getting bigger? I don't know.
I think that's true.
Also, I'm getting weird. I don't know.
Have you ever seen a ghost? Had a strange, spooky experience of any kind?
Well, I'd like to think there's a wee bit of that goes on, and it's only good ones that I think I've been lucky enough to see.
Yeah.
Maybe trick of the light, or I've been lucky enough to have some very old houses and throughout my life, and and been part of that. And I'd like to think. I always think that if it's a happy home and a lot of good things have happened in that house, and then there's you definitely feel a sense of something, and that goes for the other side of the coin as well. He would swear by his mouth.
Nothing. No noises generated. Now outside, I was hearing stuff all the time. Directly above. Now I'm guessing this is narrower because it's wood and it's not rock. Mm-hmm. So I would think this is probably more directly to the household. So arguably we should be hearing more.
You should be.
If there's stuff happening in the house. Yeah. So how come we were getting it
weird
through the stone?
That's probably because it's an older part.
I don't know. You're getting smell of something.
Yeah, weird. a weird smell.
It's kind of almost tobacco-y.
Yeah. Like a cigar.
Yeah.
Like a cigar-y?
Definitely tobacco. I was thinking even rollies.
Yeah, possibly.
But you can't have anything lit down here. Listen. Do you hear that?
What is that?
That was footsteps.
How can there be?
We know there's nobody there
No,
because
there's no one there.
we've just come out of it.
Where'd that come from?
I thought it was up there.
I thought it was behind you.
Dear me, it's really... You don't know where these noises are coming from.
That's ridiculous. Kelly's hands are out. My hands are out.
I'm not moving.
Well, your thing is, there is distance to go because this is U-shaped, I think. So let's move a little bit further in, and then we'll position ourselves in different areas and see what we get. And if we make you up and make me up, and then Tony, you can cut between the two of us. Is that all right?
I can't. It can't cut the mic. There's only one feed.
No, what I mean is, if Kenny's in one area and I'm in the other, we're close enough to be able to talk to each other. Does that make sense?
No, but
no. What I'm saying is, if Kenny's got a mic and he's at this end, and I've got a mic at the other end, we're close enough to hear one another.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. That.
I think I get you.
Right. Yeah.
I can hear everything else upstairs or whatever.
Absolutely. It's just, I think being alone in here is going to be a different experience.
Oh yeah.
Altogether.
Looking at these faces and stuff, and yeah. I mean, look at that. Oh,
It's amazing.
Ugh.
Did you hear that?
I didn't. I missed that one. What was it?
I don't know whether, did you catch that, Tony?
No.
Just a really gentle tapping. Hang on, we do our trick. Did you hear that?
I didn't hear that. Missed it.
Really super quiet. Nothing.
There's a footstep there.
There. Come on, talk to us. Ooh.
It's a long way.
It's another footstep, but it's not down here. Come on, let's see what's down here. Some of them are, oh.
Again.
Yeah. Some of them were, you've got to be careful because there is a little bit of wood noise down here. Yeah, I thought it was just a U shape. There's a bit more to it than that, actually. That's amazing, I know. You want to try on the costumes, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
There's outfits here worn by people in Doctor Who. I mean, how cool is that? You would suit being dressed as a Dalek, because we wouldn't be able to see you. Look at that. Animals like snake skin.
Amazing, isn't it? Absolutely amazing.
Absolutely.
I like that colour Dalek. One with black.
It's beautiful. Do you hear that?
Yeah, there's noises all the time in here. Do you know what it's like?
But is it above or is it down here?
It's a bit of both, I think.
It sounds like it's above.
Some of it's above, but there's some in here.
There's no one in.
It's like these.
Nobody alive.
It's like these exhibits. Oh, there's something there, isn't there? As if they're like
watching.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Footsteps again. Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Did you hear that there? What was that? I heard like can it be? It was like a
Vocal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a.
I thought it was a bit more than that. I thought it was like kind of like a.
Yeah, I didn't think you'd heard that there, and I'm thinking, is it just me? That was definitely there.
When you guys watch this back, just
hairs are going up on the back of my neck now.
Just make sure when people watch this. Oh, there's a bang. When people watch this back, try and see if you can catch that bit of noise.
What was that? That was a knocking here. That was a knocking in here.
All right. There was 3 knocks though, wasn't
there
there?
There was a knock in here. Did he say there was, didn't he say there was anything in here? Because it is.
He said that when he was working down here that he could hear sometimes little children and footsteps running, kids running around. But I'm hearing it from
up there.
Oh, that's what, mind you, it could
it's
be
hard to get where it's
because everything's so close together. I think the thing that we're going to have to do is for a few minutes, I'm going to leave you probably here. I'll go and sit in the other bit.
Right. Okay.
And let's just see what we get. And
right.
At some point, I'll put on the necromancer, and we'll also try the various other tools. We've got the portal to try. We've got a ghost radar, a whole host of things. Get the night vision out. That'd be great. Give me that then, because we'll probably not need it. I hope we don't need it. Be careful stumbling around in the dark with the night vision. So, Tony, can we make Kenny up, if that's possible? There's the night vision. Do you want to just leave that on reception?
Yeah.
Because we're still around the corner.
Okay.
Leave that. I'll take that away. Did you hear that?
That was a big bang.
It's a huge bang. And that was down here.
That was 100%.
That was behind Tony.
That was 100% down here.
It's just me. Right, and I'm going to leave that on the reception desk.
Can I just move past it? No, yeah, put this on here.
Do you want me to?
That's fine, I'll just clip.
You sure? All right.
Yeah.
Kenny's clipped. So, what I'm going to do is, Kenny, can you go to where the noise came from just before?
Just along here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll put you down there.
Right.
See, right at the end where...
Just here?
Yeah, just in that corner.
Okay.
And I'll be level with you.
Right.
Through the other side.
Okay.
Best way to deal with this is to...
It's a whole lot different.
It's a different world when the lights are out.
It's pitch black and you can't see a thing.
So you can move between the two, Tony. And all I'm going to do is sit. Sit. And I know that door is crazy. But I'm going to go through this other... Everywhere you go, there's like an image. Do you know what I mean? A jaw, a new...
You're both talking off each other, though, the feed. So we have to take the mic off because I hear him talking in there. And it's muffled.
Here, you take mine and go and watch Kenny. And then you can come and watch
He's got the night vision. You should put the night vision on.
Well, we need his mic then, don't we? Right. Oh, because Kenny's talking on the night vision camera. Silly boy.
I don't know why we try and give him the mic. Doesn't work when you've got a mic on.
Ah, dear, silly boy. Right. Sorry, Kenny, I need your mic, man.
Right.
It's just you're over talking me because you can't hear me because you're using the night vision camera.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
Got it? No. It's a plot. Gotcha. Sorry about that. Silly boy. I thought I knew what I was doing there, but I'll paint me this.
I'm Kevin Gover.
Thank you, Kevin. Now, first clue of tonight's competition, and this could win you a nice little gifty. And I'm going to give you, in total, 5 clues tonight. It's usually 1 an hour. It's going to be 5 clues tonight. And you've got to tell me the name of a classic greatest hit TV show. Okay? A TV show that was a big hit. Clue number 1. A strong wind is often described as something force. What's the word? A strong wind is often described as something force. What's that word? Write it down. That's your first clue. 4 more clues to come. Don't call in until you get the 4th or 5th clue. The last 2 clues will come together. So, a lot of you may well not know that, but on Facebook and YouTube, we do live ghost hunts every week at 9 o'clock. It was 10 o'clock for a while, but it's 9 o'clock now. And people are joining up and watching them, and some of them are supporters who get like thousands of extra bits across the weeks and months. And it's something that we have been doing now for about 2 to 3 months. And Martin from Gateshead wishes to talk about that, I think. Hello, Martin.
Hello, Alan. How are you?
I'm good, mate. Thanks for calling in. What can we do for you?
No, not a problem, mate. No, honestly, I wanted to thank you very much for doing that ghost hunt on Thursday, because I'm a massive Doctor Who fan, you know.
All right.
So give us a good glimpse into, into what was there. But I knew, there'd be something kicking there for sure, man. The amount of work that Neil's done on it, man, it can only lead to the energy going another way, and he certainly got quite a bit,
It seems so. Certainly down in the museum, the house.
Well, the 3 vivid bits was certainly, there was orbs flying around, but I don't think Tony actually knew, because they were just flying in front of the camera, and it was in the bit, when you swapped places with Kenny and you went into the Doctor Who bit and you were sitting down there,
right.
They were just flying about, and then the other bit was, even when you went into that room upstairs, I saw the ball moving before you did. The blue ball.
Now, somebody said that I might have brushed it, and that's possible. And somebody else said that it might have been because it's a really light ball. It's not like a heavyweight thing.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been when we opened the door.
Possibly, but it was good to see. And then the only thing that you can't really wouldn't be able to explain was the whoosh. The whoosh. Everybody heard that, man.
Right. Now, that was because we were both stock still, and Tony wasn't anywhere in the vicinity, and it came from behind us in the corner of the room, which to me I think is the nearest part to the museum downstairs. And there was a whoosh, and we heard just a hint of what we thought was a child's voice. But upstairs, the rest of the house I thought was fairly.
Oh yeah,
I didn't get much there at all. But you never know. Whenever we have a debrief, people who have gone over the footage with a fine tooth comb always seem to say, the supporters, they'll say, "But did you see this and did you see that?" And they've caught. I mean, last week they caught a full-bodied image of a girl in a long dress, and I hadn't seen it, nor had any member of the team.
That's why I love the debrief so much, because they're so interesting, because thanks to the supporters who put in the hard work and finding things, that they'll find loads of stuff, and then it's good for you to see, we didn't notice that when we're there. But look, because it was always the case, even when you were doing it on radio, I used to record them and listen to it back, because it's the only way you would get things, because you don't pick things up maybe it's first time, and you had to replay them, and you say, is that what happened? And it's the same principle here, but
no, I didn't think it would be. I thought, well, everybody will see what I see, and because you're there, you're avoiding hitting stuff. You've got to talk for a certain length of time. I'm being pointed in directions by Tony. Tony's saying, make sure you tell everybody you share it. So I've got a few distractions, but the supporters have caught 10 times more than I've seen. I have to say, it's been amazing.
Well, just on the 3 things then, like off the bucket list kind of thing. So I was thinking about it. Well, firstly, it would be to try and meet all of the new Doctor Who's. I've met all the classic ones, well, the ones that are alive.
Right.
But, and I think it's possible. I mean, certainly in November when I go to the Comic-Con in London, Chris Eccleston's meant to be there, so hopefully I can see him. The second thing, it's a bit a page out of your book. I'd like to go to a haunted place in a foreign country, somewhere like Transylvania, or even the Bone Cathedral in Prague that you've been to, something like that. Obviously, be with somebody. I can't by myself, Well, just so that I have a second opinion in case I have my imagination kind of thing. Sure. And again, in the third one, much like that, or that call, I was just to do a live one with yourself, and I did send this email in. You should have it.
Brilliant.
I guess so.
Hey, well, fingers crossed. Lovely talking to you, Martin. Thank you very much. Thanks for supporting. Brilliant.
Oh, take care, mate, and I look forward to Thursdays as always.
That's great. Thank you very much. Isn't that great? Great to have people like that behind you. Now, speaking of such, he's a huge Doctor Who fan. He wants to meet all of the Doctor Who's. I've been quite fortunate. I've met John Pertwee, interviewed him. Interviewed, not Christopher Eccleston, David Tennant. He's been on the show a couple of times. And I had a really long chat with the Doctor Who that a lot of people say was one of the best of the best. And I mentioned this to a certain gentleman called Neil, who runs a sci-fi museum that we were at on Thursday night. Now, this is something that is tucked away, and I mean seriously tucked away, in Allendale town. Now, a lot of people may think they've been to Allendale. I was certain that I had, and when I got there, I certainly hadn't. But I'm so glad that I have. We're going to have to go back because there was areas we couldn't get to due to the rain. However, what we need to do is to talk to that man right now. Hello, Neil.
Hello, Alan.
Hello,
speaking to a legend tonight. Thank you for having me on.
I know I am, and it's my pleasure. Thank you for letting us run rampant in not just in your museum, but also the house as well. Interesting stories in both. Glad to give the house a clean bill of health. You mentioned that when you were down in there that you'd heard various things, like children running along corridors and what have you. And when we were in the museum, and we were only there for a relatively short time, we picked up various knocks and bangs. And as you can see, even people watching the show saw orbs and stuff flying about.
Yeah, I mean, to give you some background, from about 2015 to 2017, and just after I was working full-time teaching, and then I would come back after the kids were in bed, and I'd come down literally with an angle grinder, a chisel, and God knows what else, and I'd start hacking away at the stonework. And it was at that point a really flooded, derelict cellar, and it wasn't, it was lit with really bad lighting, and as you've been in, Alan, there's a vault, and that room, several times, I mean, it was really gloomy, and you imagine being in there by yourself, sometimes at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and there was once or twice I heard voices in my ears, but the most fascinating part of that, which I think I mentioned to you, was that I saw a medium a short time after, because both my parents passed many years ago now, and I just was fascinated to hear if my parents had kept up with me, as it were, really, I think was what it was, but this medium immediately picked up that I was working in an old building, and there was an awareness it had been unloved for a long, long time, and that this person was enjoying seeing or sort of was really supportive of the work I was doing, and was pleased that there was sort of love and attention going back into this place that was, and that was quite bizarre, because there was no, it's like you don't give anything away at these things.
Sure.
And that's what came through, and that was fascinating. I can't pretend otherwise.
No, absolutely. I mean, the other thing that we got, and I don't know whether you had a chance to look back on the show, was that there was a distinct whoosh that went through that room that we were using as our little base.
Yeah.
From the wall side, and it could have come from downstairs. But it was loud enough for both of us to stop talking and go, what the hell was that?
Very strange. I mean, the house has a heck of a history. When you look back, I mean, the number of people who've lived here and the age of it, I mean, it is, getting up for 300 years old.
Sure.
And it's also the building right next to it, which kind of is part of it, was a very, very busy pub with where all sorts of shenanigans, should we say, went on.
Sure.
If you ask in the village, I mean, again, if you're going to do, let's just say, perhaps things that are, somewhat beyond the law, perhaps.
Absolutely.
Where are you going to go? You're going to go to somewhere like Allendale. And I think, again, as we touched on, is the fact that Allendale itself at one time must have been almost like this lawless, semi-lawless place where...
Well, it wasn't semi-lawless, it was totally lawless. It was
totally lawless,
They didn't even call it Allendale or Allenton, which is what it used to be. They used to call it Liberty. And apparently there was half a dozen places around the country in England that although they had another name, the law described them as, that's liberty. In other words, we're not going to, give you a law there. Look after yourself, and the person that's got either the most money or the most strength, power, viciousness, they can take control and look after it because we're not bothering with it at all. So they didn't have to pay taxes. So obviously all the people that didn't want to pay taxes, all the people that didn't want to be known would be attracted to stay in a place like that. There was liberty, which was free, essentially.
And of course, I mean, and this house being 300, that it's that sort of age, and the pub next door, having been there a long time, and all that connection, it is just, it's interesting to think what's gone on.
No, absolutely. Now, just briefly, we have to mention the amazing museum, and we know it's dinky, but it's amazing, and it's chock full of stuff. I mean, if you are a fan of science fiction, it's a place you want to get to. And one thing I didn't eventually get around to talking about was the fact that, and I know some members of the council were beside you all the way, but other members of the council were saying, we don't want a Dalek on our main town square here in Allendale. And everybody else was saying, first of all, most people didn't even notice it, which is, how do you not notice a Dalek on the street? But it went viral for you, and it went around the world. And in a way, that kind of helped you, because every other crazy Doctor Who fan from across planet Earth kind of hooked up with you after that.
Oh, it went, well, put it this way, our local county councillor, God bless him, was getting rung up in the early hours of the morning by a lady from LA, sort of saying, I hope you're not hassling you're helping my friend Neil, with a Dalek, And he was literally came around and said, I'm getting rung up every morning, by this woman. And of course, the guy was on Canadian radio, it was on New Zealand TV, apparently. And go on, have I got news for you,
Right.
Amongst other things, and it was the village. I think what made it really special was that the village itself, they ended up building something like 30 to 50 Daleks in support. When the council visited, there was tin pot Daleks, literally saucepan. There's one lady, Kate in the village. Gosh, she sprayed these giant hay bales with Daleks, with SOS Dalek on. Do you know what I mean? And it was just it was the fact that when people would say to me, "Why do you still live here? Because you're getting so much hassle." I went, "No. No, I'm not getting hassle from the village. I'm getting nothing but love and support from the village," because they knew the benefits of having something like this in a little village, because we need people to come in. They knew exactly, and that's the other thing. Half the council knew that as well. They're trying to get people into this area, and it was just the most ridiculous situation. I mean, I'm actually involved in a publisher at the minute, writing the story of it, sort of a blot on the landscape kind of thing. Gotcha. Whether or not that comes to fruition, I do know, but it's underway. But it was a silly story. I mean, and it's not something you expect to happen. And I couldn't believe it was surreal. It was like Monty Python. I just didn't. Sometimes I thought, really? Well, you want us to move a Dalek? It was that sort of level of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were talking about like best Doctor, and of course you're an avid Doctor Who. I mean, a Doctor Who fan to the power of your wife wanting to strangle you. It's the gentleman that I met out of all of the doctors that I thought was a killer Doctor Who was Colin Baker. Now, I thought he was pretty spectacular, and I know a lot of people tend to go with the more avant-garde, over the top. I thought he did a solid job of it. Yeah. Who's your favourite then, on the spot?
I honestly, I think it has to be push come to shove, John Pertwee. Although I love early Tom Baker, brilliant. But I saw John Pertwee just before he died, and here's a little quick tale. Basically, sat in front of him in Hexham in the little theatre. There he was. I took my mum. We'd lost my dad. Took my mum, and we sat watching him together. And at one point, he was clearly getting a bit fed up with just being asked Doctor Who all the time. And he was talking about his time on the HMS Hood, and he was apparently in Newcastle on shore leave when it went down.
Oh, wow!
Right. And guess what? My mum, who lived, in Gateshead, her school was knitting socks, hats and gloves for the crew of the HMS Hood. And basically I said to Mum at the time, tell him, this was a ship and you were making knitwear for it, Yes. I then met Sergeant Benton, who came and opened, John Levine, who opened the museum, and I said, my mum wouldn't say, what do you think John would have said? And he just said, that would have made his entire evening, because he felt like he cheated. He felt survivor's guilt for his time on the HMS Hood. You know, he wasn't there the night it went down. And he said it was something he carried with him for years after. But I think he had a depth about him, and I think he was a spectacular Doctor Who.
I think he was too. Hey, but Neil, fingers crossed you have a very, very busy time of it, because people really should go down, even just for a great day in Allendale, but you must pop into the museum too. Thank you very much, Neil. Great to meet you and Lisa, and give her me love. Thank you very much for coming on, man.
All right. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye. There you go, and you can watch that entire ghost hunt on Facebook and YouTube if you like. And obviously, if you join up, then you get all the other bits from all the other ones, all the way the full thing. So anyway, that's the deal. Just amazing that it came together. A call about it, so we thought, can we get Neil on? Got Neil on. Happy days. Whew! First clue. A few people asking for a repeat of it. A strong wind is often described as something force. See if you can work that out. A strong wind is often described as a something force. And we have, who's this? NHS songs are piling in, I'm glad to say. Suzanne, stuck with a needle in you. First cut is the deepest. Oh, we've already been there. Thank you, Sue. Neil, God save the spleen. Oh dear. Keep up the good work. A bit drastic. Sex Pistols tune. Oh, here's some rocky ones from Chris the Truck. Puke Box Hero, Foreigner. Whole Lot of Gloves, Led Zeppelin, very good. Heaven Can Wait, Meatloaf, absolutely. And The Stroke, Billy Squires, blimey. Nice choices, Chris, thank you very much. All the rockers nodding in agreement. As we go across to Andy in Cramlington. Hello, Andy.
Hi, Alan, you okay?
I'm good, mate. What can we do for you?
Just to talk about UFOs, I need to say hi to my wife, Susan, first. She's a big fan of yours, so she'll kill me if I don't say hello.
That's great.
UFOs was a subject you want to talk about, and I've got my own podcast called That UFO Podcast, and recently the subject was discussed in the UK Parliament. I didn't know if you'd seen that.
No, I didn't, no.
So UFOs are UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon, as they're known by the UK and US military for some time, was discussed at the end of June, as the United States had just published a UAP task force report, because in the US they're taking the subject a lot more seriously than the members of the House did in the UK, where it was kind of dismissed out of hand as having no defence significance. In the US, they're quite aware that these objects are operating in the skies with impunity, outfoxing the best US military equipment and personnel, and they see it as a potentially a very real threat, and it's not something that is still in the UK taken very seriously at all.
Why do you think that is the case then? Because we like to think that leaders of one nation and another exchange information with one another, surely?
I think it's still just the ultimate taboo subject, isn't it? When you hear UFO or you immediately think flying saucers and aliens, and it's a very real phenomenon. There are things in the sky that people are seeing, and as we're seeing, you've got some very serious people in the US government now on top of this issue. Former Under Secretary of Defence Christopher Mellon has been involved in it, and he's a really serious guy, and he's got an incredible family background as well, if people look him up. And he's one of the people at the head of this, really pushing that people shouldn't dismiss, the ET hypothesis out of hand, but also that if people just think of it, take a step back, forget about aliens and flying saucers, and there's a real working hypothesis by some serious mainstream scientists as well that these objects might be from here, but still not human. And that's not US, not Russian, not Chinese, but something else on this planet at the same time of us.
Well, I mean, many people for many years have discussed the various bases supposedly built beneath the planet's surface, and we've had a few of them over the years. We've visited a few across the world. We visited one in Turkey that was supposed to be the beginnings of a lair where aliens, and we've had people on from America talking about working as agents below the surface of various states in America where they're housing aliens and working with them, and reverse technology and all that kind of business. So we've certainly had a few of them on, and doubtless this will run and run. So if people want to get onto your website, where do they find it?
So That UFO podcast. You can go to thatufopodcast.com, or you can find it on Apple, Spotify, or wherever podcasts are sort of available.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, and good talking to you, Andy. Thanks for coming on. Well, there you go. What do you think? Now, when a soldier was serving in Iraq, he had a most amazing run-in with what he and the other people on his Jeep didn't think they completely believe was an alien. And I'm going to play you those clips after we have another star, because the stars come out at night. From beautiful South, the beautiful Paul Heaton, talking about, well, stuff.
Probably pulling my hamstring. I know it sounds a petty injury, but I pulled it all across the back and it went black. The whole back of my thigh. That was painful.
How long did that take to put it right then?
It's never really been right since. I always tend to pull them if I'm running or whatever.
Nightmare. Okay, what are you frightened of? Are you scared of anything?
Wasps. Really frightened of wasps, and I've been stung this year already.
Oh,
and I haven't been stung for about 5 or 6 years. I couldn't believe how painful it was. It was unbelievable. I normally run about 100, 200 yards if I see a wasp. Right. Now I'm going to be over a mile next time. It's unbelievably painful. It's horrible. I'll never buy an ice lolly for my kids or anything like that. Anything that attracts wasps, I'm out of there.
It's this one that gets me every time. Oh, jeepers. That was me. Right. Let's get into the darker area. This is as far in as you can get. So I'm going to sit in a corner. Switch the light off. See if we can get anything. I'm tempted to just sit. See what we get. Bit of a noise there. I think I can hear Tony coming along the corridor. Did you hear that, Tony?
It might be my footsteps. I'm just walking slowly back.
I can hear your footsteps.
Yeah, that was me. Maybe the necromancer would be good in here.
Absolutely. Got it. Ready. See if there's anything wanting to talk with us. Is there anyone here? Now, little Matilda, who lives here, not just here, but there, says that she hears things. So we're going to see if Matilda's right, because she's very special. I'm hearing whispering as well. Right, let's see if there's anything there. We're here with respect, and we want to hear from you, whoever you are. Whoa! Speak to me. No. Okay. We're here for you. Talk to me. Did you live in this house? Oh, there's a small child there. Talk to him. Talk to him. Were you a child here? Was that you, Tony?
No, could have been Kenny along the other end, though.
Right. Speak to me. No.
This is Necromonger on here.
Is that right?
Necromonger Captain.
And we're necromancing here. I'm sure I hear footsteps upstairs. Hang on. Wait. If you won't talk to me, I'll stop you having the opportunity.
There's a staircase.
That's you, Tony. Right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to see if we can locate something with the energy radar. See what we get. See if we can locate direction. That's Tony. We're going into red. Going into red light. Was that you walking, Tony?
No, I thought that was a band was coming from your end.
I heard that as well, mate.
That was really loud.
Yeah, I heard the bang.
Kenny heard it too. Oh, noises all around me now. Tony, come around here. I've just had an absolute feeling of something being around me. When it was dark, are you picking anything up?
I'm not. Well, I'm just looking on the screen, but I can't see anything.
I'm getting stuff above me and around me.
I'm just trying to lay the camera still a bit.
It's really super cold here too. Make a noise then. Did you hear it?
We had a guy ringing in who'd come back from Iraq and was absolutely positive that he and his colleagues had witnessed an alien. This is how it worked.
It was an amazing show that you did.
Well, bless you. Thank you for that.
It just brought back some memories of when I was out in Iraq in 2003.
Yeah?
Me and my mates were in the Land Rover going across the desert at a place called Shaiba.
Right.
It was pitch black, middle of the night. Mm-hmm. We were just going along checking the perimeters of the fencing and that, basically.
Right.
We went over this like sand dune and we're seeing this creature. It just came out of nowhere. And it reminded us a bit of the story that you said about the little guy buried underneath in Peru somewhere, was it?
Yeah, but what did it look like, this thing?
Almost exactly how you described this creature on your show.
Right.
It's hard. It's hard to explain it now, like, because it's been a long time since then. But
you all saw the same thing, you guys.
Well, there was me and me driver. There was a lad in the back.
Right.
As I say, we were driving along, and all of a sudden we're seeing it like it was as if we just caught it in with headlights.
Yeah.
And the eyes like shone back at us, big, like huge, like saucer-like eyes.
Roughly how big? Because we were talking about these things being quite relatively small things.
All we could see at our first glimpse was the eyes.
Right.
We didn't really get much of a glimpse of it, but we followed it. But we followed it. It just like disappeared, and then just like reappeared. We were travelling along in the Land Rover at a good 50 mile an hour across the desert,
right?
And it kept on appearing in front of her.
So it was travelling at 50 mile an hour.
It must have been because, as I say, I mean, it just kept on appearing on a different sand dune in front of her.
The whole shows of the first alien Jesus and the second one, the Jesus seed, is basically backing up that there's an awful lot of people seeing an awful lot of things that nobody's got any kind of explanation for. The last thing I expected was for two lads bopping over Iraq in a Land Rover to have seen one of the things that just sounds too out of this world to stand any chance of being true.
I've never really actually told the story to anybody else
because it sounds crackers.
Because it does sound absolutely crackers. Aye. Yeah. I mean, the lad who was driving, I mean, he's in Australia now. Right. But
you saw it clearly, so we've got no reason to doubt you. And
I saw it clearly.
Now, he referred back to one of the shows we did, Alien Jesus. And the Alien Jesus shows, in one of them we were in Peru and we talked about this tiny little creature that they had found the skeleton of in a cave. And it was about 3 to 4 foot. And goblin-esque, there's no other way of putting it, but it was found in a cave. If you check out Peruvian UFO alien, you'll come up with pictures of this thing. And we didn't leave it there. This was too big a story not to push on with.
The eyes were what stood out the most, obviously, because, I mean, when the headlights caught them, it looked at what, but it didn't, it had, an intelligence there that wasn't, animal, intelligence, if you know what I mean.
Right.
It had more of something about it. I remember it had, a bit of, a snout.
Right.
It had almost a tusk, like koi carp, how they have the...
Yeah, like little barbel bits at the side of the mouth. Yeah.
It had something like that, coming over its mouth.
Were you ever tempted? Because let's face it, you're there to protect your, the edge of your fence kind of thing.
Yeah.
And presumed you were armed. Did you think about having a pop, or was that not allowed?
To be honest, I didn't think...
Can I just say, on the behalf of anybody that's seeking intergalactic intelligence, I do understand shooting an alien's probably a bit of a no-no, but it's just you're in the desert, it's Iraq. If ever you had an excuse, it could have been maybe it's there.
To be honest, I don't even think we could have gotten a trace on it. It was going that quick. It was. We never actually seen it move.
Right.
It was just there 1 minute and then
gone.
Then gone, then somewhere else.
Right. But you kept seeing it time and time again.
We kept seeing it time and time again, aye.
It was running ahead of you.
Aye. But I mean, as you say, there's nothing that I know of that can travel at 50 mile an hour.
No. And we finished it off.
We kind of just looked at each other and we're just like, what on earth was that?
Yeah.
We thought about putting it down and we're reporting that, but we thought, because we'll get the mickey taken out of it if we say something about that.
That's the rest of your life and your time there taken, I would imagine.
Aye.
If you'd have just seen that, that's one thing. But you both saw it. So it couldn't possibly have been imagination, a trick of the light, or any of those things, because you both saw it.
We've both seen it clearly.
There you go. Interesting, fascinating, and we've got a few more alien things that we'll share with you across tonight's show. But let's get some calls in. Edwin is with us in Gateshead. Hello, Edwin.
Hello, Alan. How are you doing, mate?
I'm good, man. Good to talk to you.
Good. Yes, assistant's good there. Chrissy, the canny lad in.
Good.
What I was going to talk about, I hope Cliff, sorry, that was a bit sad when I heard that one there earlier on.
Heartbreaking, right.
I've got a couple of things. I've written a few things. Do you now? And you didn't know what to tell. When you
All right.
got a few things to tell.
Do
it. Paul tried Andrew's liver salts. We on a good Paul early on. He said he was
constipated, hellish constipated.
Andrew's liver salts. My nana swore by it. She used to take it every day.
Aren't those the ones that you used to put a spoon in a glass of water and it would go?
And you get the scissors, aye.
Right.
If you take too much, you get the trots, man.
Well, I think he would thank you for the trots at the minute. That's for sure.
What else was I? Oh, the roads. I think the roads need sorting. They need more investment in the roads. The roads are bad. We aren't. There's potholes everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're not very well lit either. When I'm driving, I tend to keep putting my high beam on when I'm driving, because the roads are shockingly lit.
That's true.
I'm up at Sandy Bay at the minute in Mora's Caravan. But going back home, going back to Gateshead, and I come back up the day, I had to put the high beam on, come back at night, because it's that dark along them roads.
Mind you, to Sandy Bay, it's wibbly wobbly, isn't it? It's not exactly like you got the A1 all the way, let's face it.
Yeah, the roads here need more investment in the roads, like.
Yeah, for sure.
What was else? All right, stocks and shares. I was on about that the other week with unit trusts.
Yeah, that's right.
People should put their money into them. The unit trusts are a really good investment, like, or even child trust funds. Anybody that's got a newborn baby that want to put money into stuff like that.
Yeah,
that make you a lot of money over the years. Like, you can start off with like £25 a month. You don't have to start off with.
Right.
And it's a really good place to put your money, like. Unit trusts.
Right.
See if it's better than a bank, and better return definitely than what you get for what you get from a bank and that. Like.
Yeah, you don't get much these days. Okay, anything else, Ned?
No, I think that's great. Really.
Brilliant. Good job.
Thanks, mate. Take care.
Thanks for coming on. Bye-bye. No, it's good. He got what he said. He went through it. Happy days. This policy for bairns, my mother had one, and what I didn't realise until... sadly, she was no more. And then you go back and you say, oh, she's got an insurance policy. And it was with a cooperative society, the co-op, and it was called a penny policy, which means every week you put a penny in. Now, she started doing this for me when I was born, which was not long after Hadrian had built his wall. So you think, well, blimey, there's got to be a lot of money in there. But a penny a week is 52 pennies a year. Now, okay, a penny is now probably worth 4p. Let's say it just wasn't. It wasn't close to a fortune. This worked out being about 400 quid for a lifetime. Bless. But it's the thought, and the fact is that wouldn't have been there if you hadn't stuck a penny in here and a penny in there. And why wouldn't you for your own baba? Do you know what I mean? 01914 883188. Our next caller in is Dave from the city of Durham. Hello, Dave.
Hi, Alan.
Hello, man. What are you talking about?
Thanks for inviting me on. For a long time, I've been trying to get ghost stories about Durham.
Right.
And I've come across an interesting one, which most people have forgotten about, but I'm hoping that there's some people who's listening to this who might be able to help me with this. And because one of these days I want to write this down somehow.
Right.
A lot of people have heard about a thing called the Enfield poltergeist.
Yes.
Yeah?
I've heard of it too, yes.
Right. So the Enfield poltergeist was in 1975.
Right.
Now, in 1973, there was an incident in Lancaster. Now, it's interesting to me that we started off this programme, somebody talking about a ghost next to a Roman wall, yeah?
Yes, that's right.
There's a Roman fort in Lancaster called Longavicium.
Yes.
And this happened not far from there.
Right.
Anyway, so when I was a kid, I was born and brought up in Langley Park.
Right.
And my parents were they were big in the church, All Saints Church in Langley Park.
Right.
And I got to know the vicar quite well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I was about 18 years old, and I was at university, and I came back one, I think it was one summer holidays or something like that, and I was having tea with my parents, and they had this black and white television set on the table.
Right.
And on this black and white television set, there was a news item. And on this news item, there was my vicar, and he was carrying out an exorcism ceremony in a council house up in Lancaster.
Right.
He was trying to drive a demon out of a council house up in Lancaster.
Right.
Now, you see, the thing is, nowadays, we're quite used to the notion of having ghost stuffs on television, yeah?
Right, yes.
Well, this was half a century ago.
Yeah.
This was 1972.
Right.
And this was not a ghost program. This was Look North. This was a news program.
Right.
Now, can you imagine BBC taking a ghost story seriously nowadays?
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But as it says, so there we are. He was trying to exorcise this demon live on television.
Right.
And now, because this was 1972, it's distinctly possible that this was the very first ghost event in England. It is distinctly possible this was the very first televised ghost event anywhere in the world. And this, this is why I want to kind of keep this story going. Yeah.
Right. Why do you say that? There have been ghost things caught on camera since the 30s, mind.
On television, live on television.
Yeah, well, there's a very famous bit of footage from a Polish laboratory where a girl said she was possessed,
right,
and asked to be put into a glass case,
right,
and they filmed all four sides,
right,
and it was, I suppose, if you say televised, maybe not televised, but it was filmed by four cameras, and she got scratches on her arms when she held them out, and nobody knows how they did it. Some people called her a faker, but she was locked in there by herself, and the wounds showed when she was just holding her arms out. It wasn't like she had to. You saw her scraping her or scratching at herself. So I don't know whether that counts. I suppose it's not television. I'd be interested to know if anybody knows of any other televised anything. Just 72 is quite late for telly. If you'd have said this was in 59 or 63, but there was a lot of telly between it starting in 1972. But who knows? I mean, it was on the news programme.
Well,
so,
I mean, I've looked through all the archives, and I can't find anything about this. We see the other bizarre thing about this was this was an official Church of England exorcism.
Right.
It wasn't, it's fairly easy to get the local vicar to come in, sprinkle a bit of holy water
bless
around,
the house, yeah,
and bless your house. But this was, an official Church of England exorcism. So there was my vicar there, and there was also the official Durham County exorcist from the cathedral helping him out.
Yes.
Now, that is not there was a time when I used to try to help people get rid of stuff in their houses. And I've met the Durham Cathedral exorcist. I can't say, we're the best of buddies, but I have met him.
Sure.
And I know how very, very difficult it is to get this guy to come out and do anything. And there must have been a tremendous amount of evidence for him to come out and have a look at this. Now, as I say, this was a BBC News programme.
So what did they say they were exorcising, though? What was the spirit like? Was it male? Was it female?
Well, it was a poltergeist.
Yeah, but was there any description or any... What kind of activity had it shown?
Well, it was, the very typical poltergeist activity. There must have been a lot of activity there.
Right.
Because the Bishop of Durham must have authorised this exorcism, which meant that there must have been 2 or 3 people who had seen this, and it's quite likely that the vicar had seen it as well.
Right. So we need, if anybody else knows anything about it, if you live next door, if you know whose house it was, if it was your house, ring us. What was the crack? We're going back to 72. It's a fair way, but there'll still be people who... lived in Lanchester around that time. Were you aware of it? Do you remember the TV show? Tell us any information that you can.
Yeah, it was BBC Look North at 6:30, and there was also there was an 8 o'clock special as well.
Right. Okay. Well, let's see if we can find anybody that remembers it or took part in it. Who knows? We'll see what we can get, Dave. Leave it with us.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. 01914 888 3188. I don't know. I'm fairly sure Chris next door will remember something that we did. We went for the very first time to visit a place called Hell in Norway. It's up beside Trondheim. And I thought it would be a really good idea to take an exorcist to Hell. So we got the guy from Durham to come out with us. Now, subsequently, I've discovered that the actual power behind that particular throne is a canon, is the ranking, and this guy does from like Leeds up to the tip of Scotland, and he's a busy boy. 0191 488 3188. Tell me your tales, please. We also have David, who is in Sunderland. Hello, David.
Hi, Alan.
Hello, man. What you got for us all?
Just want to say, went to the Hardwick Festival on Saturday, and what an absolutely fantastic event it was.
Oh, give us your official review then.
All the bands that were on were really good class. Imelda May was on. Maximo Park were sort of sub-headliners, and then, Nile Rodgers was just phenomenal.
Everybody dancing, everybody dancing, I'm presuming.
Oh, yes, aye.
Fantastic.
Quite fortunate with the weather. There was a couple of bits of drizzle for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, but apart from that, it was really, really good, well organised.
It sounds like, though, that the diversity of acts, because Paul and Maximo Park, there's a band and a half, but completely different to everybody else that was on the bill.
Yeah. Must admit, I'd never seen them. I know they're a local band, but quite enjoyed them. Excellent show.
Good. Hey, top class. It's just, we're just so desperate for entertainment now as well. But to get the kind of acts that you saw, it's not like any of them are lacking in talent in any degree.
Top
of the tree.
Imelda May was really good.
Brilliant.
Same time, Hurton Park was on the same day, and I hadn't actually seen any advertisement for that at all. But apparently it rained quite a lot there.
Right. So you picked the best one. That's the thing.
Yep.
No, it's what did Nile Rodgers do any of the songs that he'd written for other people? Like Let's Dance, the Bowie thing.
He did Dance. Did some of Madonna's stuff.
Brilliant.
So they did like a good medley of, because he was having a bit chat in between, saying, how he'd started and who he'd worked with, like that.
I just think that for those people that he and Nile Rodgers, they will genuinely, and I know we're greatest hits, so you would think most people are more knowledgeable than most about their music, but a lot of people don't realise that Nile Rodgers is essentially Chic, and a whole host of other bands too. And if you go through, even if you just go through, because I was talking to somebody about the whole Chic phenomenon, and it's like everybody dance. The first hit was Dance, 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 Yowza, Yowza, Yowza. And then there was I Want Your Love, He's the Greatest Dancer. And it just goes on and on. They've had some amazing, was it Upside Down? Diana Ross song?
Yeah,
Upside Down.
Diana Ross, Madonna.
Goes on forever.
It was a really, really good show.
And every song gets you off your feet. That's on your feet. That's the main thing.
And it's been on again today with what do they call him?
Come on, what do you call him on today?
Yeah, it's just coming to see him in the last. It's not the bogey man. You know what I mean, don't you? Rag and Bone Man.
Rag and Bone Man, of course, Rag and Bone Man, right.
I was closer with the bogey man.
Yeah, he'd be worth seeing as well. He's got a good voice.
Yeah, but, you've got to look at him and say, brilliant songs, singer and this and that and the other. He's been getting tattoos all over his face. What's that all about?
Do you know, I've met him and he's a nice bloke. And I said to him, do you not think it would be better if you sang behind the screen? And he took it well, but I was kind of half serious with it. I know what you mean. But I just think it's just so good that live music hasn't died, because there was a real chance of it. Don't get crowds together. I was worried about the football as well, but fingers crossed common sense is coming into bear, man.
The thing is, with you say the music and the venues and that, but there's all the back staff, all the roadies, and all the people who do the catering and stuff like that. You don't really think about, but
and where they stay, who drives all of that business. Absolutely, there's a lot behind it. Hey, but good to hear from you, David. Thank you very much for that.
You know about ghosts?
Yes, man. Tell me a story.
Okay. retired professional photographer.
Right.
I was doing some PR shots at Lumley Castle for a big company.
Right.
And CEO was over from America. And it was in the Barons Hall.
Right.
And they were actually having a banquet.
Mm-hmm.
And what they do there is they've got the two big thrones, and they bring the two that's going to be the king and queen for the night, who was the CEO.
Right.
So before they came in, I set my camera up on the tripod.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to make a ghost. And I got one of the girls in the mop cap to stand just at the side of the chair.
Right.
And took a picture and underexposed it by about 4 stops. So there's virtually nothing on the film.
Right.
And then they came in, sat down, correct exposure, flash, bang, double exposure. So when they got the photographs back, they're sitting there, and
there's a ghost girl right next door. Brilliant.
So it's easy to, well, certainly and still, I dare say if you know what you're doing in video, it's probably just as easy to reproduce stuff in video as well.
Well, I suppose so. It's just that's not what we're looking for, nor what we
know
want.
It's not what you're looking for. But on all these ghost hunts, you hear noises and sounds, but never actually visually. I know you see these orbs, but they can be just...
No, well, I mean, in fairness, the last...
They can be lens reflections, can't they?
We did go to the pub in Durham just last week, and we didn't get the footage, but a listener did a screenshot, and there's a full body entity there. So we've managed to get a few things. Also got a figure walking across a path that we caught on one of our earlier things. So we've got a few amazing anomalies, let's just put it. But we're fairly sure we've caught some good stuff. And it tends to be the listener that spots them, not us, which is because when you're actually physically on the ground, you miss an awful lot. And when people put it on their 75-inch widescreen telly on the wall, then it's something they can really pick. They can pick up the minutiae better than we can. But hey-ho, thank you for calling, David. Glad you had a good day today. Excellent.
Yep.
Cheers, man. Bye-bye. There you go. It was at the thing yesterday, should I say. He's getting over it, but still in the rosy glow. Let us have a piece of music. And somebody else, Geet famous. The stars come out at night on Greatest Hits Radio Northeast. This time, it's Belinda Carlisle. Ever seen a ghost or had a strange spooky experience of any kind?
I saw a ghost when I was 17.
Oh, what was it?
It was in a little hotel in Paddington, 17 or 18. And it was my first trip overseas, and I went to London, of course, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and it was holding me to the bed, and it wouldn't let me scream, and it was trying to choke me, and I could see it. It was like sort of like a fog, and I could see through it. It was moving. My friend is screaming, it wouldn't let me scream. Wow. And then I don't know how long it went on for, but it definitely happened. And it was weird because I saw a BBC special on the most haunted places in the United Kingdom, and one of the scientists was just describing the exact same thing that happened to me, and I said to my husband, see, I'm not crazy. It definitely happened.
No, awful. How about that?
It's there's definitely upstairs. And it's brick.
Well, how are we hearing it? I'm just getting... Did you hear that?
Yeah, could be Kenny, because he's in the other part.
Did you hear it, Kenny?
Do you know what it sounded like?
What's that?
It sounded like a bone snapping.
Sounded like a bone snapping.
I don't know how that can be, but it did.
Right, let's see if I can find out if there's any energy kicking around. Use the ghost radar, and I will point in the direction where if it detects anything.
Presence detected. Kind of energy are you? Now, the way the ghost radar works, there's a million words. Oh, what direction is the spirit? It's pointing there. And it's a scared spirit, it claims. And out of all the words it could choose, the words that are illuminating, the conversation is tedious. Who speaks like that? The conversation is tedious. Well, talk to me. I'm going to put the necromancer back on for you. You see, it's tedious. Well, you do the talking. Talk to me. I can hear you. I keep saying, talk to me. Talk to me. I am staying. Sorry. You don't have to feel sorry. What the hell? Just talk to me. Did you die here? Did you die here? Tell me. Are you down here? Where are you? Where are you? Are you the children that played here? Yes. Hiding. The child just said hiding.
Oh, I can hear the child.
Can you hear the child?
Yeah, coming through loud and clear.
What's your name?
What was that?
I just want to talk to the child. How cool would it be if she was called Matilda? My goodness. What's your name? What's your name, little one? Give us a break. You hear the man say, give us a break? A man's just said, give us a break, and I'm hearing a small child. Broken bone. Can you make it out? Can you see my face there at all?
Yeah. I see now when you lean in.
There's a blackness around me. There's a blackness around me that I'm uncomfortable about. I felt it before. Do you want us to be here? Are you glad that we're here? It's all right. Are you sure? Who's the man who doesn't want us here? Yeah, the children. Just sometimes the better you can, if you leave it and you're just quiet. Listen to that. Come on, last chance. Listen. Come on, speak to me. Come on. In fact, I think I'm going to try something that we haven't used in the longest time. See if there's anything in the portal. So many ways to try and find out if there's anything here. All this does is sweep the sound waves. Listen. Hello? Talk to me. Talk to me. I want to talk to the children. Just heard a noise right next to it. About 2 yards away. I'm hearing you.
Quick walk through here. Yeah. Quick walk through.
Aye. We've got all kinds of noises around here, mate.
And over there as well.
So are you getting anything?
Like I say, it sounded like a bone
breaking.
And I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's what it sounded like. And yeah, there's footsteps, there's noises, there's creaking, there's all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to quick walk through here.
Okay, man. I'll go back to where you were.
Right.
Kevin, how about that? And I don't know whether you were watching any of the sport, but we had an interesting Grealish moment. The ball bounced off him into the goal, and everybody's going, he scored his first goal. A ball bounced off him. I suppose it counts. But when you see the Lukakus of this world slamming one home, there's a slight difference, and a difference in price too. Be interesting to see how that goes. Anyway, time for a second clue for you. Remember, there's going to be 5 clues, so I'm actually going to give you 2 clues now. So you're going to have 3 going into a 4th round about 1 o'clock, and the final clue coming about 20 past. So clue number 1 is, a strong wind is often described as something force. I want that word, something force. Second clue, the man most likely to sleep with a queen. Okay? You've got a queen, and therefore you have a man called a... Yes, there you go. 2 clues. Third clue, Orange has it on the surface. Okay? Orange has it on the surface. It's called orange something. What is that? Sometimes you shred it to go into cakes and things. So, 3 clues down, 2 more clues to come, and then we're back on track again. Keep me up to date. Let's take as many of your calls as possible, and we have Ryan, who's from Gateshead. Hello, Ryan.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, mate. What are you talking about tonight?
Hello. Yeah, it was just about. To be honest, I wasn't going to call in,
okay.
But it was about what you said earlier when you were talking to a previous caller about a ghost-related incident. You said this is what the skeptics need to hear, or something along those lines.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, and to be honest, I've always been one of those skeptics. Like, I've listened to your show for years, and you know, with the greatest respect, every time you'd had like a ghost event, I've thought, oh, it's another ghost thing.
Right.
And I've never believed in ghosts my whole life, right? I've always just dismissed it. But it's only in the last kind of, I don't know, a month or so, I've started to come around. Well, maybe it's a bit more than a month now, looking back. But
so what was it, though? What tipped you over? Because that's, you know, when you dig your heels in, I'm going to believe when I get something that makes me believe. What was it then?
Well, I've never actually seen anything.
Right.
But I moved into my house a little while ago, and well, to be honest, I bought my house. I bought my house like, you know, just before lockdown last year. But I didn't actually move into it like, you know, a few months after lockdown. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
But like I was, what kind of tipped it over for me was, you know, I'd heard the odd like clitter and clang, but you know, you just put that down to a house well lived in.
Sure.
And I gave it no mind as you would. You know, it's just your new house. You're not really thinking about that kind of thing. But what happened was a few months ago. I'd heard the odd clitter and clang, but as I said, you never really give it any mind.
Sure.
But I kept hearing these things, and actually, I should say, like obviously, you don't really have much contact with the actual seller nowadays. It's more through the estate agents and that.
Sure.
But you know, in getting to know the neighbours, I'd actually learned that the person, I don't want to say too much, obviously, because it's a sensitive issue for the person.
Sure.
But the person had sold their house because the mom died and they couldn't bear to live in that house anymore, basically.
Right.
And you know, I never really thought much of it, but you know, like I'd heard the odd noise every now and again, and you know, I gave it no mind. But then there was one discrete moment that kind of turned it for us. I'd heard these weird sounds, and it was kind of like a groan. Right. But looking back, I can hear more, like looking at my memories. But at the time, I could hear like a groan.
Right.
And then, you know, as the days and weeks gone on, it wasn't every day, but I could hear the odd thing, and it was Marion, and that's what I could hear through the, like, you know, just through my room. And
could you hear the name being said, or did you just get a feeling that it was Marion? Did you know that was the name of the person who lived there? Or?
Well, that's the thing, Alan. In hindsight, I think it was Marion, but at the time I gave it no mind. I thought I'd left the telly on downstairs, so I went up. I got up out of bed, you know, when you just get straight into bed, and then as soon as you lie down, something happens, and you think, oh, for God's sake, I've got to get up.
Right.
So it was one of them times. So I got up, and I went to go and turn the telly off, but as it always is, it turns like the telly was off.
Right.
So I went back to bed, and then, you know, a few days went by, didn't hear anything, and then I heard kind of the same kind of thing again. It wasn't the same, it wasn't exactly the same. It was like I just heard the odd Marion kind of sound. And I didn't really think too much of it. As I say, I'm a bit of a skeptic. But
you were fighting it, that's what you were doing.
Well, now I realise that, but I've always been a bit of a skeptic, and at the time I thought, I was looking back on it, I think I was in denial. So I went back and I kept hearing the odd Marion, every I would say every week or two. And then it occurred to us that I was still getting the odd bit of mail from the previous person, and I went and picked up me letters from the letterbox, and I saw the letter that wasn't addressed to me, that was addressed to a Marion.
Whoa! And you hadn't known the name up until that point.
No, and that's exactly what I said. I went, oh. And later on that day, because I see the neighbour in the garden every day, I went, oh, hello, you all right? Now, I kind of asked a couple of questions about the neighbour. She was like, oh, Marion. And my heart just dropped. And like I said, I'm a skeptic. But, I heard this sound. I saw the letter. And you hear the odd clink and clang. And I don't want to say the full name, obviously, but you hear a Marion in amongst the night.
When you were chatting to the neighbour, did you ask what she'd passed with and whether it had anything to do with like wheezing or groaning or?
Well, it wasn't this Marion that had passed. It was Marion's mother who had passed, and she moved house as a result of that passing.
I understand. So, but to hear the name Marion would have been what the mother would say, shouting for her daughter or being with her daughter, I presume.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, is she looking for her daughter?
Right.
In a house that she's no longer in.
Yeah, because she's gone. That's right.
Yeah, and she's moved on. But obviously, if this is some sort of supernatural experience, if this is a supernatural experience, then I'm kind of a bit worried. I'm thinking I've never experienced this before. Am I safe?
Well, all I can tell you is I've seen the film Poltergeist, and I know what happens when somebody's not happy with somebody who moves where they live. That's the thing. I'm just winding you up.
I would hope so.
No, but the reality of it is, if there is, because I believe that energy doesn't have to be. There's various kinds, and there's kinds that can react to a person that's there. There's other kinds that just seem to replicate what they did 1,000 times while they were alive. And you're not sure what this is. It could just be a reflection of what's happened for a number of years with somebody who's not particularly well, but and constantly in need of help from their daughter. I can see a scarring there. And it may benefit you, for somebody who doesn't believe this is going to be a leap of faith. But seriously, the next time you hear someone say, Marion, say, she's not here anymore, you've passed, you have to move on, your daughter's not here anymore. Now, that's a huge leap. Now, if this is the kind of spirit that's just constant reflection of what's been before and therefore has no intellect or intelligence with it, and some don't, some are just replayed time and time again, then it'll make absolutely no difference you doing that. However, if it is not, if it's an active spirit and it's genuinely looking for her daughter, it may well be that you are helping that spirit move on. First of all, the spirit has to realize the truth of that. And secondly, if and when it does, whether then it chooses to move on. So there's a few variables, but the first step is to let the spirit know that she's no longer there, because she's calling out, but she's not getting any reply. Would you be able to do that?
I mean, there will be no harm in it, as far as I can see. But I'm thinking, I don't know anything about ghosts or supernatural. I'm thinking, am I safe?
Yes. Well, yes, you'll be safe. The worst thing that could happen is, and usually, you see, if there was something going to happen in your house, it probably would have happened now, because the most common time for people to be disrupted and have the unpleasant side, stuff flying off walls, banging, books off shelves, the kind of standard, what you would describe as poltergeisty things.
I've never had that.
That tends to happen if somebody moves into a house and then changes all the furniture around and closes a door off here and changes the energy of a place. Did you close off any areas? Did you just put your stuff about?
No, well, there was very few furnishings when I moved in, but to be honest, like I'm very low maintenance. Like I'm just happy to crack on. I'm not too fussed about moving stuff around.
Right. So you didn't close the kitchen and merge it with the utility
there was
room
no,
and
like
all
renovations or anything like that.
Champion. You see, had you done that, particularly in light of what you've told me about the fact that she's returning a lot, seemingly looking for her daughter, this is the kind of spirit that would be prone to let itself be known. But you've kept the energy in the house roughly the same as it was at the time that this person lived in it. So she's comfortable there. She doesn't view any of the changes that you've made as making her feel like this isn't my home. She still feels like it is her home. And someone has to tell her. Now, it could be you. If you don't, you are safe. But if you don't feel comfortable, you just go to the nearest church to where you live. You don't have to believe in any of that or not. But have a word with the vicar or the priest and ask them if they'll come down and bless the house. When the priest blesses the house, they mark it. And if you choose to believe, and surprisingly, I was taught by a guy who was an exorcist, and it took me a lot of years to learn. It's mainly a counselling skill for most people that have hauntings, but the small percent of hugely active places that they go to, they do have a fair bit of experience in this. So if you get one, ideally an older vicar or priest who knows what they're doing, they should be able to flatten the energy that's in there so that A, you'll not hear it anymore, and therefore you will presume that it's gone, the reality being that it's not actually gone, it's just flattened. However, I believe it's normal that all of this energy should be flying around us all the time, and I think that's normal. But yes, you're completely safe. Don't worry about that. But just have the bottle to fire some energy back, because that's what you're doing. When you reply, especially if you reply fairly loudly, and just tell this woman that Marion's not there. She's not ever going to be there again. She's moved out, and you've passed over, and it's time for you to leave this building too. It's a huge leap from where you've been. I don't believe in it. It's the biggest leap you can make, but it might just work out, because I know a lot of times that when that kind of energy is hit with energy back to it, it responds to it. And sometimes even listens to it. And you'll find all of a sudden, I haven't heard that for the last 2, 3, 4 weeks. If it gets worse, it's unlikely. If it gets worse, do what I tell you and have a word with a local vicar or priest and get them to come down. And that's if you're bothered. If you can live with it comfortably and say, well, okay, there's a little bit of residual energy that used to live here that's still hanging around. If you put it in those terms, it's not quite as scary as thinking, Marion's mom's watching me when I'm putting my underpants on. Do you know what I mean? Because she's not necessarily. I'll say she's probably...
Well, she might be.
It's a long shot. Hey, but anyway, Ryan, good luck to you. And thank you for coming on and being honest. It's the only way to be, man. Only way to be.
Right, okay, thank you, Alan.
Thanks,
thank
man.
you
Bye-bye.
for letting us share.
No worries. Isabel Renfell says, Alan, you should have Gwen and Ted sitting on the chair behind you. Yeah, we do have... she lost her eyes at the weekend. On Thursday, she lost her eyes. Her eyes fell in. And her eyes were scary, but she's scarier without them. And yeah, we've got a doll from 18... And we've got an old teddy bear that hasn't been named by our supporters, a supernatural Ted instead of Super Ted. And essentially just looks like a bag of poo. But anyway, that's the reaction. Should we bring him in then? I mean, that's a bit spooky for you. For your standard, yeah. Tony, has just said, I keep them in the car because his partner won't let them in the house. He's so scared of them. 0191 488 3188. Speaking of all things fancy, let me just tell you who my next guest is. Her name's Tracy Oliver. She's a local author. She's got a few books out. And frankly, I'm not sure whether I'm old enough to know about the content of such things because they're a bit near the knuckle, I'm hearing. Hello, Tracy.
Hi, good evening.
Hello, welcome to you. How long have you been an author, darling?
Not very long. I own a supply agency. I supply teachers.
All right.
It started with friends saying to me, tell me a story. And then that went to, you've got to write a book. So eventually I did write the book.
Right.
And I thought basically it would be crap and nobody would want to read it. And then it went to an editor in London and then it went straight to Amazon.
Wow, that's brilliant. So what's the book called?
It's called Lessons in Murder. It was originally going to be called Supply Teachers, We Know All of Your Secrets. But I decided that would be tedious and too boring, just talking about incidents, and things that happen. But a lot of it's very, very funny. But it's a bit like Sex in the City with teachers. There's a lot of sex in it.
Right. And I'm presuming this is just because teachers are especially supply teachers, are apparently more sexy than most of the teachers we remember.
Well, they like a drink. There's a lot of shenanigans goes on in school.
Wow. And you know the inside track on all of that. When you're writing about the whole sexy things, though, are they coming directly from tales you've heard from your supply teachers then?
I'm afraid it is, yeah. A lot of it's, past experience, friends and people that I know. The girl that runs the agency in the book, it's about the school business manager who's called Izzy, who goes out with a doorman in Newcastle.
Right.
And he's a bad lad, real bad lad.
Yeah, there's one or two.
And we all know a girl in our lives like Izzy who just listens to anything and he walks all over her.
Yeah.
And that's wrapped up with the girl called Tara who runs the agency. So it's a lot of things all rolled into one. But it's a bit like Sex in the City with teachers.
Yeah, but it also sounds like it's just got the hint of pornography on the edge of it.
Well, I'm pleased that my mother's not here to read it because I think I would have been in deep trouble if she'd read it.
Do you put any of your own background in it? I mean, when you're doing a love scene, do you think, I'll tell him what Harry did last Thursday?
Oh, I have to be honest. There's a lot of my friends are pretty lively on the Newcastle scene. So yeah, there's a couple of footballers in there who, with the Reddit, they might know who they are.
Right. Yeah. It's a fascinating world that you've chosen to write about because most people wouldn't have thought that the whole Teachy area would be particularly racy. But as I say, you know better than most.
I could keep you going, Alan, for hours about stories about supply teachers. I mean, some of the stories are, the wild, some of the things that have happened.
Well, I have to just put the brakes on there and say, tell me one of the wild stories then. Come on.
Honestly, there's so many. In 25 years, there's just so many stories about the stuff that comes out of their mouths. I mean, the industry's changed a lot. Years ago, it used to be mothers who were having babies who would go away and come back. Now it's so transient. You're getting people from all over the place who've got to be vetted and checked very carefully.
Mm-hmm.
And they come with a lot of baggage. So the industry, it's indicative of all industries. It's all changing.
Mm.
I mean, some of them can't even speak properly now. I had a girl the other day who said, I learned them it. And she was an English specialist. I learned them it.
Right.
It's frightening, some of the stuff that we see. I mean, we had a guy in once who'd been in prison for 10 years for fraud. And he actually wanted us to give him a teaching job. They're unreal, some of them.
Wow.
Unreal. There's horrifying stories, but there's a lot of very, very funny things have happened. We had one teacher that put a kid in the bin and said he was rubbish and that's where he belonged.
Whoa. These are the kind of things that now would make the papers, wouldn't it, if that happened?
Yeah, you wouldn't dare do that now, but, for what it's worth, he never, ever had any trouble with that kid again.
Right. No, it's interesting because I was from the generation of just coming to the end of the strap kind of thing, but too late, raised too late for the cane, but felt the strap, and then the strap went out. And it just seems woodwork teachers would hit you with a bit of wood, you know, because they had it to hand, and nobody batted an eyelid. But purely from the discipline thing, we've always wondered how best to discipline our children, and I think the majority of people listening in have always questioned sending the bad person home. Just seems to most of us being, well, isn't that exactly what they'd want? You know,
to be honest, Alan, it's the parents that need dealing with, not the children.
Right.
You know, I mean, recently the news that were going on about the trouble that kids are having with their teeth.
Yes.
And all of the agencies have to step in action and people have to help them. No, they don't, Alan. The parents
yes.
are responsible for their children's teeth, not the bloody government.
Right.
You know, this is the world that we live in now. So unfortunately, that was reflected in the classroom, and supply teachers get the worst classes.
Right. Yeah. Well, of course they will. They'll be given the write-offs, unfortunately.
Yeah, we had a lady. She moved up north to be closer to her daughter, and she did a bit of supply for me. And she came in. She said, "You know, sweetie, I just can't understand what's going on." And I said, "Well, you know, it's the northeast of England. We don't supply Eton."
Right.
She couldn't quite get her head round, you know, how tough some of the schools are.
Yeah.
But the toughest schools, they're the ones that need more supply teachers.
Yeah, well,
because the permanent staff are off.
Or they're suffering from stress, or they've got a whole range of problems, or they're finding excuses to be off.
Oh, Alan, there's nothing wrong with them, and they're just on full pay.
Yeah.
Huge amount of that goes on. A lot of it goes on. You know, there's a huge percentage of teachers out there doing a fantastic job.
Absolutely.
But there's a percentage of teachers that, you know, it's not good, but it's indicative of all industries. Everybody's saying the same.
Yeah, there will always be a percentage that get away with whatever they can get away with, and they know just how far they can push it as well. So,
yeah.
But it
look at that pilot
benefit.
who was a bit depressed and he flew his plane into a mountain and he killed everybody. That's the world that we live in now. It's terrible.
It's terrifying. The stress on teachers, though, must be unbelievable.
Oh, absolutely. And I wish that came the parents, because the parents, some of them are horrific.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of them won't admit that they just don't care what their children do. You know, and I mean, teachers can't police these big strapping year 11 kids. They just can't do it.
No, you're right.
Why should they? Why should they put themselves in harm's way?
Yeah.
But I mean, we've got some fabulous supply teachers. We're very, very lucky. Very lucky.
It's a tough gig, though. Tough gig. So, anyway, the book again. Remind everybody where it is and where they can find it.
The book's called Lessons in Murder by Tracy Oliver, and it's only with Amazon. And the second one I'm writing now, which is called Lessons in Revenge, because Lessons in Murder ends on a cliffhanger.
Dum, dum, dum.
So I've started to write the second one, which is actually... the first one was very easy to write because it's just everything that's happened.
Yeah, it's all poured out of you.
But it's my neighbour shouted across the road this morning, "I hope you're writing that second one because I've just finished this and I want to know what happened."
Great. That's exactly what you want.
We'll see what happens, but it's, you know, with COVID and everything, it's been very hard to push, but I thought a lot of teachers might be interested in reading it.
I'm sure they will. Thank you very much, Tracy. Great to hear from you, love.
Thank you. Thanks very much for having me on.
Welcome. Never a bother. Isn't that just Whitburn? It's one of ours. 0191 488 3188. Give us a call. Nice stuff. A bit of 50 Shades going on in the world of teachers. We always hear the story of, the teacher ran off with one of the older girls and stuff. Every school has those kind of legends. Not sure whether it ever happens. But we never ever thought, is Mr. Such and Such seeing Miss Such and Such? I mean, I'm fairly sure that kind of stuff is as common as she says. Easter's been on. It wasn't his last saying, "Marry me" in his sleep, was it? Nice try. Incidentally, I got a quick text from Easter. He's looking for a telescope. He sent this thing and said... he's looking for something bigger than 3 inches that sticks up because Anyway, he says, Alan, this is the view out of my new loft window. The moon is glowing, and it is. I'm after a telescope. Has anybody got a cheap one, a free one, or any kind of bargain? You don't know. Just remind people, it's nice to be nice. Has anybody got a telescope they don't use? Because he still would like one. He says it's for the moon and the stars, but he's got new neighbours, so you never know. 0191 488 3188. Let us off to Simon, who I think is in Peterlee. Hello, Simon.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
Good to hear from you again. What you got for me tonight, then?
Well, I've got a little bit of a struggle here.
Okay.
I always believe in the national health system, and it's something that I've grown up believing that is mine and everybody's right.
Okay.
But this year, it's round about my birthday in a couple of weeks' time, and I'm in a... I have my MOT every year, so blood pressure, blood tests for kidney, diabetes, etc., etc.
Right.
And I always have one for my prostate as well, because I'm over 50.
Right.
And I believe in prevention is better than the cure.
Okay.
And the nurse last week said, "Oh no, you can't have one of those. It's got to be requested by the doctor."
Well, is this the prostate?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
They do the blood markers, so I have the full work.
Right.
And I've had those since my early 40s, all of it.
Right. Oh, blimey, have you? I've only ever had the once up there, the tickle, if you know what I mean.
Oh no, I haven't had the tickle. I've always had the blood. So they check for the proteins in the blood.
I was going to say, because once you've had the tickle, you don't really want the tickle again. I didn't want the tickle in the first place, but... and I think every gentleman over the age of 50 knows what we mean by the tickle. So they're reducing the safety that you have then, I suppose. That's the only way to look at it.
For me, prevention is always better than the cure.
Sure.
So...
but it's got to be requested by a doctor now. Can you not request your doctor to request it?
I can't even get a face-to-face appointment with the doctor.
No. I think everybody's had that kind of issue over the recent years.
Which kind of annoys me, because I did say to the nurse last week, because I've got, like a mole, but it's bigger than a mole on my face.
Right. Oh, that's not good.
No. So I've always kept a monitor on it, and I have seen a specialist in Sedgefield.
Does he say that it's a risky one? Because sometimes moles can change from one thing to another.
Well, my problem is my father has had skin cancer in his face in exactly the same place 3 times now.
Right. We can't take chances with that then.
Exactly. So I said to the nurse, well, I would like another face-to-face with the doctor about that. You can't have one of those.
Can you ask him to Zoom you then? Because, I mean, they do say that they'll ring you now, which is just an excuse so they don't have to look at you. But can you not ask for a Zoom call so at least he can take a look televisually?
It gets worse than that. I had to take a picture on my own phone and send it to a link and then request an appointment, but I'm still waiting now, a week later.
That's just, no, that's not acceptable.
And I have explained to my surgery that my father's got a history of skin cancer in exactly the same place, and they've gone, because I actually did say to the nurse, well, since May, apparently the previous incumbent health secretary said that we can request a face-to-face appointment with a GP.
Yeah, but you notice they said you can request one. They didn't say you'd get one.
Yeah, and the nurse said to me, don't believe everything you hear on the television.
Oh, blimey. It just seems that receptionists in doctors' surgeries these days have been given a It's kind of like what they did during World War II. None shall pass. Make sure that none of these patients get in. Heaven forbid we're going to have to talk to one live and in the flesh.
And also, like, as I say, round about my birthday, which is a couple of weeks' time, I have my MOT, so I have asthma. So every year I'm supposed to have me peak flow done.
Right.
So you know what the peak flow is.
Mm-hmm.
And I obviously last year I couldn't because of COVID, etc., etc. So my last one was 2019.
Oh, blimey, right.
And I said to the nurse, right, well, I need me peak flow done.
Mm-hmm.
All you'll get is a phone call. All right, well, why? So my peak flow is, and my last has got COPD, so she has to do a peak flow as well every year.
Right.
And the peak flow is a key indicator of the progression or stability of your condition.
Uh-huh.
And apparently, because of COVID, because you're doing your huff and puff through the tube, you might spread COVID, so you can't have one of them anymore.
So nobody knows really what's going on with either of you because of COVID.
Yep.
That's not helpful either.
It's not, and I'm pleading with the surgery, saying, "Well, you need to monitor our conditions," and they go, "Oh, well, we don't care."
Sadly, the avoiding seeing patients is hugely common, and it's difficult to get round. It truly is. I've needed doctors' help on a couple of occasions, and it's been sorted by, oh, well, I think it's this, I'll leave a prescription out, come and collect it, but I'm not seeing you, kind of thing. So I'll guess. I was going to guess with you being in the surgery, but now I'll guess when you're even further away, and hopefully my guess is right.
Yeah, I've actually had, I have PTSD, not through military service, but through other things that have happened to me. And every time I've needed, and I haven't actually needed antidepressants since 2012, but it has since the beginning of this year. And every time I've needed them, my doctor has said, well, you have to come in and see me. And I was at crisis point, and my doctor's surgery phoned me up and said, yep, you can have them. There's a prescription waiting for you.
To avoid seeing you again.
Yeah.
This is the scariest thing is, why would anybody wish to become a doctor if they don't want to see their patients?
And my oldest granddaughter is training to be a nurse, and she is being obstructed at every turn.
That's very sad. But hey, let's hope you can work it out, Simon. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you, Alan.
All the best, man. Bye-bye. What a damn shame. Right, let us head across to Anonymous in the city of Durham. Hello, Anonymous.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Alan. I wonder if by any way possible tonight you can do something very special for me. What I'm ringing for is my mother used to be a soldier in the Salvation Army.
Right.
Last Saturday, week on Saturday, she sadly suddenly passed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Obviously, it's absolutely traumatised. Now, she did a lot of work for the Salvation Army, collecting money in, door to door, street walking. You know how hard they work, as much as she possibly could. To pay her back, the Salvation Army are walking in front at the crematorium on Tuesday. They're also following us onto the road to set us all away to follow the hearse. She was a very long-term listener of you many years. In fact, it was her who involved me. And she always used to like you when you used to play a theme for anybody who'd pass. I believe it was Across the Water or something like that.
Take Me Home, a song by Joe Cocker it was, yes.
That's the one. I wonder if you'd be so kind and paid for my mother, please, tonight at some point, if you could.
Right.
I'm just hoping that because I am going to try my hardest to stand up on Tuesday and do the speech.
Right.
On behalf of my mother. And anybody who's sort of like listening in the area, I'm sure they recognise my voice. They call my mother Joan. I won't give her a second name, but they'll all know who I mean. Everybody who who saw her around will know her. We're expecting a tremendous amount of people to turn up, and hopefully give her the best possible send-off we can.
Well, I need to go into a commercial break in a second, so I'm going to do that. We haven't got the song to hand, but I'm getting it. And give me her name again.
Her name was Joan. I'll give you her full name.
If you wish.
Her full name was Joan Clennell.
Joan Clennell. And did she have a rank?
79 years of age.
Did she have a rank in the army?
She did. No, I don't believe she did.
Right, okay. So, and she's passed, and it's the crematorium on Tuesday.
On Tuesday, yes.
And the Sally will be out in force.
Oh, they're out in force because apparently they're leading the way to us to follow the hearse, and then they're leading the way at the crematorium. They're setting the service off with full flag because they do this for soldiers.
Right. Well, normally we don't, because obviously we're very strongly playlisted, as most stations are, to a degree. Unfortunately, I get a potluck of choice for most of the stuff we play. So we're digging it out, and I think the least we could do, you've requested it, and it was important to her, and that's what was most important.
Yeah. She really did. Every time she heard you say, I really like that what Alan plays, that's really nice. And it stuck in my head tonight. And I must personally thank your colleague Chris, because he actually talked me around to coming on, because I explained how I thought I was going to have such a tough time on Tuesday in doing it, that I couldn't come on tonight. And he said, well, why don't you try it? So I would like to thank him for giving me the courage to do it.
Right, okay. Well, what we're going to do is, I'm just hearing my headphones, you in one ear and Tony in the other. We've got the song nailed out for you, and immediately at the end of the commercial break, I shall pay Joan tribute, and we'll get that song on for you, okay?
Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. We're back after this. I'm going to plant myself here at the edge. They're sweeping for anything.
What did you say, Kenny? Yes. All the time I was in there, I was hearing noises.
Creaking from above, but not here, and this is not brick.
I know, but next door.
I know, it's weird. Very, very strange.
You're not moving. I hope that's Kenny. Are you moving, Kenny?
Stand still.
He's standing still, we're getting noise, but it's coming from over there.
Yeah. Again. Twice there. Okay.
What is here? Do you know, I think we should head upstairs, Tony.
Yeah, I was just about to say, maybe upstairs.
We've done enough down here. We're getting noises, we're getting the same kind of thing over and over again. I just think maybe, oh, that was me, I think. Kenny, let's head upstairs. Everything's happening up there. Grab that. That's your, and let's go upstairs.
Do you need this?
And how
I'm going to have to come back down for it.
You need to stop for a second.
Well, I'll bring this upstairs. Okay. And then I'll have to come back down.
Okay.
Is it raining?
No.
Oh, well, I can show the...
Let's do it outside. Kenny, can you hold the...
Yeah, go on, what do you need?
Just, I've got time to tell a very brief story while Tony moves some stuff around.
Yeah.
Oh, it is raining. Let's take it in.
Oh, right. We'll just do it in. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. What's your step? What's your step? What's your step? What's your step? And this is directly above the museum. Because this is somebody's house, we've got to be respectful. So don't let the dog out. Woof, woof, woof. Right. This is where we are in this area here. So, beautiful little room. What I was thinking of doing was just sitting down. And Kenny, if you could,
I'll just,
do you want to set it up?
on here.
And I'll just sit down here.
I'm just going to get my modems in the right place.
Absolutely, you go do that. It's only, it's 10 to already. I can't believe it. Now, yeah, just grab a seat, Kenny. You can sit down there. That's fine. The downstairs, we were hearing people walking around in here.
Definitely.
Now, Tony's gone down to take out some modems, to put them in the various rooms to make sure that we don't drop out, and we got a better chance of everything working out so you can hear and see. Downstairs had a particular feel.
Yeah.
I think.
What was that? What was that? Did you hear that?
major, and it was here. It was like something sweeping past us. What?
Voice.
I got a voice, and then did you feel that sweep thing?
Like, yeah. And then a voice. I was red hot down there as well for some reason. I was absolutely.
Well, I was sitting in the corner at the bottom, and I was really
and now
cold.
I'm freezing in here.
It's cold in here.
It's really cold.
Now, we talk a bit about rivers. We're going to go down to the river where rivers would drown. Phenomenal. Did you hear that?
There's noises all the time. Yeah.
Go and walk with a camera on this floor, because there's rooms there. There's a kitchen, and there's a backyard with a secret cellar underneath it. You can't get into it.
Right.
You can't get into it, but set your camera up and see what you can get.
Right.
Can I borrow your torch? Yeah.
Upstairs.
Go for it. We've just had a ghost experience, and I think everybody at home will have got.
Wow.
Which is super cool.
Yeah. There's lots of wires around here.
And try and be quiet and don't damage anything. Be careful. Now, we're talking about rivers and things that happened on this very site. If you go back long enough, the Romans were here, and this whole area that is now Allendale was an initial Roman settlement. And it wasn't just the fact that the Romans were here, because obviously there's forts and we're not far from the Roman wall. You don't know what footsteps are theirs, but before anybody came in, we were getting them. Absolutely freezing over here. Just to my left, absolutely freezing. Maybe, if it is a child spirit, maybe Gwendolyn with something. What's happened to her eyes? She's lost her eyes. Gwendolyn, what the hell? That's even creepier. Anyway, you know that doll doesn't do it for me, but so this whole place built on lead mines, and the Romans had locals.
When you see the mirror, I was actually taking a photograph into a mirror because one of the rooms is done a bit like a dance studio.
Right.
And I was taking the photograph into the mirror,
Great.
and there was nothing behind us or in front of us, or
yeah.
And the lad had done the same thing, and we both got more or less the same figure. It was quite surreal.
Because you sometimes get more in reflection than you do. You sometimes see more in reflection.
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
than you do.
It's a good way to capture things.
No, it is absolutely tremendous. Hey, well done, and thank you very much.
My worst experience is Time-Out Priory.
Right. What happened?
I hate even talking about it. I hate even looking at the place now. Overwhelmed by hatred and just a horrible, evil feeling.
Wow.
And that was one night, because I used to go to my friends every Halloween and listen to your Halloween night owls.
Yeah.
And we used to do it every year. And it was this one night you were talking about different places down the coast, and you wouldn't say where you were.
Right. Yes.
And I was actually sitting there, and I got that feeling again, and I said to her, he's a Time-Out Priory. She shut up. I says, I'm telling you now, he's a Time-Out Priory. She says, I'm telling you, if he's a Time-Out Priory, you're not coming back to my house. And when you said at the end of the show that you were actually at Time-Out Priory and just everything stood up on end, it was like, oh.
Well, you know, a few, hundreds of people tumbled because, you know, the car park that's on the promontory just down the bottom under the prairie?
Yeah.
Cars were coming in there, and I was saying, if you've come in because you think I'm where you think I am, honk your horn. And everybody went, so the car park was full of people that had kind of twigged it too. But hey, just goes to show your feeling was totally spot on. Well done.
Well, Amon, can you give a shout out to me spooky groupies?
Yeah, what's that? Have you got a name for them or?
We're called At the Witchery.
That's a great name.
Yeah.
Right. At the Witchery. Good to talk to you, and thank you very much for listening. All the best, Debs.
Thanks very much, Anne.
Thank you, lover. Bye-bye. Let's take a quick break, and don't forget, we got more stars coming out at night. However, for now, let's take a swift break, find out what's happening in the news. We'll be back real soon.
What I have researched is interesting. It says that if you are a coal miner and you start digging coal at 18, you'll probably be dead by 45 of the black spit. 27 years. However, if you're a lead miner and you start at age 18, you'd more normally be dead by the age of 27, which is 9 years. So how would people die around here? Well, they would die in a whole range of ways. We're hearing that one of the ways was brain hemorrhages, a constipation, and an inability to wee, where your bladder bursts. Lead does a lot of very unpleasant and nasty things. Right. Shall we?
Set up.
Gwendolyn's lost her eyes.
Lost her eyes?
Lost her eyes.
What? Are they in the back of her head, or? I mean, they were in last time we. Oh no, poor thing.
Yeah, they're rolling around in there. Oh, that's just
even more haunted then.
Well, there might be a way of getting in, and I don't know what it would be. Oh, she is super spooky.
Bless her. If anything worse, if anything else could have happened to her, her eyes have gone. Sound like she's white there.
Well, I'm hearing, we heard a voice, and we both, while we were standing, felt this gush of air around us, and it's bitter cold in this corner. Let's get the supernatural Ted, and we might as well use your...
Make them a bit more comfortable.
Whoa.
Oh, go.
Oh, she doesn't look well, mind. A minute.
If you're wondering who Gwendolyn is, she's 127 years old. She's now part of the team.
And she's just lost sight in both eyes. So, did you move the torch? Let's keep it together.
There you go.
Now, you've got enough light there for me. Let's leave you two together. Fingers crossed, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody, Gwendolyn. Right. Let us head off and see what we will see. Now, I've just shut the door. You heard me shut the door.
We just saw you shut the door.
Sorry?
We just saw you shut the door, haven't we?
You hearing that? No, it's opening. Might be just what the door does. Now this is through to a happy, jolly parents, small children.
It's up for the router.
All right. But for small children, this is a house full of love. Very special parents. Lisa's lovely. Neil's Neil. And this is beautiful. The best mums have sticky floors, dirty ovens, and happy kids. And I believe that to be true. And yet, in a place like this, I'm feeling this is all right. I'm feeling this is clear. But we're...
So, let us get to our fourth clue. Remember that there is a fifth. Clue number 1. A strong wind is often described as a something force. Second clue. The bloke most likely to sleep with a queen. And the third clue. Orange has it on the surface. You have to do this to an orange to get to the flesh. And the fourth clue is... I taught a something cat. Okay? I taught a what kind of cat? Okay? I taught a... Right. So you've got 4 clues. Your fifth clue will be in about 14, 15 minutes. Make sure you're listening, because that is when you can ring in and win your prize. However, we have Alison, who's in Anfield playing. Hi, Alison.
Hi, Alan. How are you doing?
I'm good. Good to talk to you. What do you have for us tonight, then?
Well, it was just your kind of questions that you had about things that you want to do before you die.
Yeah, your bucket list. Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I've got hundreds, but I thought I'll pick 3.
Okay.
Basically, one thing that I've always wanted since I was younger is for people to know who I was. Not necessarily be famous.
Right.
But for people to know who I was.
Right. So how do you achieve that without some kind of notoriety?
Well, it's kind of like I've always thought that, and whether this is right or wrong, that I'm going to do something that's going to change lives.
What, in a kind of killing John Lennon sort of way?
No. It's kind of like either invent something or create something.
All right.
Like, I haven't done it yet, and I'm not sure what it's going to be.
Okay.
But it's like one of those things that before I die, I want people to know who I am.
Right. Now, I'm presuming it's not enough that hundreds of thousands of people can hear you right now, and that's Alison from Anfield Place. Is that part of it?
Probably.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. I love the fact that without actually, like, doing anything, people know who I am.
Right.
I think it comes from when I was younger, because I was always very, like...
Shy.
Well, not so much shy, but I didn't think I was kind of worthy of anything.
Oh, blimey.
I was probably like that when I was younger, and I didn't kind of come out myself till I was about probably late 30s.
Why was that? Was that a sibling thing, or was it from your parents? Were they not supportive of you, or what?
It was probably a life thing. I had a lot of life things, kind of. I think I've told you most of the stories now.
Yeah.
Lots of things that kind of happened, and I just went in on myself and was really like, I just always used to think I would be, because I had agoraphobia for a lot of years and I was poorly for a lot of years, I thought I'm never going to get out into the world and do anything.
Right.
I'm going to have illness and bad things and horrible things happen like all my life.
Because in a way, if you'd have stayed like that, and I know you didn't, fortunately, but that's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, because if you think nothing's going to happen, it means, well, I may as well not try.
Yeah.
You know, so you can achieve nothing if you don't think you're able of doing something.
Yeah. And I was that's what I believed for so many years.
So what broke you free of that?
I'm not really sure. I kind of woke up to life and realised that life was different. And I kind of had this. I had a lot of help. I met a whole load of different people who helped me recover from all the illness I was under, but gives me a different belief of life.
Good.
So that was
did the world a good, and it's transformed you into the diamond that you are. You see.
No, but it has made me really open myself up to be that's why I love coming on talking to you, because it's kind of I can tell my stories and
you can be you.
Say, this is me. Yeah. This is who I am, and I'm proud of me, and I'm happy to be me, and because I didn't for so long. So yeah,
and yet to a lot of people listening in who've heard you maybe on the show before, they would be thinking, some of them, and I promise you this will be the case, some of them will be going, oh, I wish I was as confident as she is. I wish I could come on and tell them. But, that's exactly how you come across. And it's not because that's how you want to come across, so you're putting this little act on. That's who you are now.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
that's not something you can fake. People will be able to tell you if you just, it's like let's put a mask on and then I can, you're just being you now, and that's great.
Yeah.
Just shows you how far you've come, though.
Yeah, I tried to do that for so many years, putting the mask on and trying to be this person, but when you're not genuinely that person, you can't come out and just. No,
everybody sees through that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
That's one, okay.
That's one thing. Another thing is, I would love, before I die, to experience something that tells me 100% that, ghosts, aliens, things that we don't know for sure actually do exist.
Right.
That might happen afterwards.
What would, maybe, but what would that be then? You're seeing a full-bodied apparition, being touched?
I've seen that.
So, right, you've seen that. So, what more would you need then? Because that's a pretty big thing that you've managed.
Well, I always put it down to, was that my imagination? Did that really happen?
Right.
So stories like that, and I always think, is that right? And then sometimes, you come on and you talk to your listeners who there's a lot that believe, there's a lot that don't.
Sure.
Who you don't sound crazy. But some people who you tell it to are don't be stupid. That was just your mind playing games.
But when and I know you being a follower of what we do in the ghost rooms, during the debrief just last Tuesday, when we were doing looking at the screenshots, and again, I thought it was another place that had fabulous history, but didn't give a lot. There wasn't too much. And mind you, in fairness, we have to say, we're going to a place and saying to whatever's there, look, you've got 2 hours, get cracking. So it's a big ask to start with. But that photograph, screenshot of the child in that alleyway, that was it. First of all, I thought, could it be anything else? And it's a girl in a long dress. That's just what it is. So when you see stuff like that, though, and it's on camera, it wasn't anything that we had anything to do with because we didn't even know it was there. Then what do you say then? How do you or do you just say that's just like an anomaly of light somehow? How do you push that away?
Things like that is like the first one where it looked like a child running across in front of you.
Yes.
That was just mind blowing.
Right.
I was sitting in the dark watching it, and it was wow, and you can't not see that.
Right.
But what I would like is an explanation to know how.
So right, you right. Blame me. To talk about a hard crowd here, you saw a child run across from one side of if it's the one I'm thinking of, the country path to the other, and you actually, that's not enough. You want whatever that was to come back up to the camera and say, yes, it was me. I died in 1744. I had the plague, and so you need the full explanation to that.
Well, no, it's more of an explanation or an understanding of how we kind of live together. So how, like, the energy is working so that ghosts can be here with us. Are we in their energy? Are they in our energy?
I think it's a bit of both. It wouldn't surprise me if we sometimes maybe popped up where they are and they're looking at us going, never guess what I've just seen.
Yeah, and that's kind of I would love, before I die, for...
Because you know, your bucket list's messed up, Alison. First of all, I want to be known by everybody. Well, you're known by hundreds of thousands, so yes, I suppose I am. I want to believe in I've seen a ghost, and I've seen that, and this, and so you're kind of like 2/3 on both of those, though, aren't you?
Yeah, but I always I could die tomorrow. I've got to get through these things.
So okay. So what's the third one, anyway?
The third one is actually to do with you.
Oh, right.
Because I would love to... you've been part of my life, my whole life, basically. Well, nearly.
Thank you.
And it's kind of like I would love to come in and see how it all works.
Okay.
And help kind of just understand how everything works on a radio show. Because I've sat on this side for so long.
Right.
And then, like, listen to you and be part of it all. And then coming on and now talking... which I absolutely love. It's my favourite part of the week on a Sunday night.
Right.
And I would just like to go that step further and see how you operate.
Tony, Alison's always wanted to see how a radio show works. Oh, well, because of COVID. Ah, right. Soon as the COVID, as soon as the dreaded cloud of COVID is gone, you can come in and sit in a show as long as you can get in and out on your own volition.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Done.
That would be fantastic.
So just don't die.
No, I don't.
Don't die over the next... Well, you don't know how long COVID's going to last. We didn't think it was going to last a month. But hang on in there. Eat your greens and all of that. Hey, no worries. Hey, lovely talking to you, Alison. Thanks for coming on.
Alan, take care.
No worries. Bye-bye. Blimey, the easy ones. 01914 488 3188. Now... just for those of you, I don't know whether I can get away with this one. Ages ago, we did this thing with... here it is. I have found it. Linda is in Germany at the present moment, so I just thought I would dig out a little tribute to her because... she goes to Germany a lot. She's got a lot of family there. So I thought that I would serenade her.
I know it's a love song.
Oh, go on in.
But it's about Rome. but it's sung in German.
Well, give us a verse of that then. Go on, let's have it.
Sommernacht in Rom und wir beiden träumen. Sommernacht in Rom, unser Träum wird bleiben. La 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 la.
Isn't that funny? La 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 sounds the same in both languages.
Because I forgot the word.
Isn't that amazing? Shall I tell you what? Shall I sing a love song to you, Linda?
Oh, go on then, Alan.
The thing is, I'd have to sing it in German, wouldn't I?
No, it's true.
Oh, okay then. Right. Mind you, hey, I've got to give you an official warning here. If you are wearing underwear that has elastic, it will melt. Are you prepared to take the risk, Linda?
Go on then.
Okay. Du bist einmal, zweimal, dreimal ein Damen. Und ich liebe dich. Du bist einmal, zweimal, dreimal ein Damen. Und ich liebe dich. I just don't think love songs sound the same in German.
Oh, but it's wonderful.
And all the way from Germany, here is that very lady. Hello, Linda.
Good morning, Alan.
Hello, how you doing?
Oh, what was it? Last week, on Monday afternoon.
Yeah.
I said to my nephew, I said, book me a flight to Germany. My daughter's in hospital.
Oh, blimey. I mean, how easy was it to get over? Are they stopping you? Do you have to have a test? What's the crack?
Well, it took him 4 hours to book a trip.
Oh, blimey, right.
Yeah, but we eventually got one, and he says, when do you want to go? And I said, as soon as possible.
Right.
He rang me back up again, and he says, do you want to go tomorrow? And I thought, what? So I was multitasking, back in the case.
I bet. How is she anyway? How's she doing?
And she's fine. She's back at home now.
Oh, that's good.
She had a cesarean.
Oh, blimey, right.
Yeah.
Is that a bit like a Brazilian? Just it's an Italian version, is it? No, I know what it is. But she's all right. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
And how's baby then?
It's lovely. Oh, beautiful.
Right.
What was it? £8, 4 ounces.
That's cheap. Right, but both are fine and both are home now, which is great.
Yeah.
That's
tremendous. What was it? I've seen all my grandchildren except for my.
Blimey, how many are the mother now? Because you've got
There's 7 now.
Cheapers, wow.
3 boys and 4 girls. No, 4 boys and 3 girls.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Nana. Well done, you.
Oh, thank you, Alan. And my son's coming over with his 2-year-old Ellie, and I'm going to cook for them and
right.
have a nice day. I'm living at it's Simon's house,
right?
And my daughter's just lives next door.
Right. Oh, that's handy.
It's apartment for my daughter.
Yeah.
And so I've enjoyed my stay here.
That's good.
And,
do you have to isolate when you get back, or is there any rules or regs on it?
I don't know, Alan.
Right.
Do you know what? I'm just taking it all in my stride. I don't give a hoot.
Right.
Because I'm an owl.
No, to be honest, it's the best way to be, because during the last lot, I travelled to Europe a couple of times for business on probably 3 occasions. And on each occasion, everybody at the airport kind of looked at each other and goes, anything at the minute? And they I don't think so. A crack on. And everybody just got hold of it. I don't know whether that was a good thing or a bad thing in retrospect, but you've just got to do what you've got to do and hope that everything's all right. They'd stop you if there was an issue, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I've got a working permit for Germany.
Right. Uh-huh.
And as soon as they saw that at the airport coming over,
right.
They sort of made eyes and everything. I had my papers for the injection.
Right.
You know, the
yeah. You've been jucked.
I've been vaccinated.
Yeah. Right.
And I think I had everything that I needed.
Right.
What was it? Any other things going when I go back next Sunday? Just have to see what I've got to do and what I haven't got to do. And like I said, I'm not going to worry about it.
No, don't. Absolutely don't. And hopefully by then things will be easier. In any case, let's certainly.
And I'll be pensioned off this year, Alan.
Pensioned off?
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh, is that a good thing? I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing these days. Is it something you're looking forward to, or?
Yes, I am.
Right.
And what was it in Germany? There's a song, "Mit 66 Jahre, nothing to sleep and mit 66 Jahre, da hat man was daran," and it means with 66 years you've just begun life.
Oh, I see. Because what was the first line again?
Mit 66 Jahre.
Right, a sexy chesty chava. Is that what? That's not something you want to be, really. A chesty, sexy chava. It is just the beginning. It's just a number, Linda. Just a number. That's
exactly.
The thing.
But I feel good anyway.
That's James Brown all over.
And I feel good.
There you go. Yeah,
you know what was it? I'm enjoying my life and I'm making the most of it, and I don't let anything get me down.
Good girl. That's the way to be. Absolutely the way to be.
And I love seeing my kids. I'm loving it. I'm living every minute.
Well, you just have a lovely time over there. Worry about nothing and just get back safe.
Oh, thank you very much,
No
Alan.
worries. Good to talk to you, Linda.
What was give my love to all the night owls.
I will indeed. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Take
okay,
care.
bye,
Bye-bye.
Alan.
Well, it's all the better because it's actually 21 minutes past 2 in Germany. Sorry, past 2. There you go. Angela's with us, and she's in Shotley Bridge. Hi, Angela.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, good morning. What's your bucket list then?
Right, I've got quite a few, quite a list. But,
Go on then. You're only supposed to have 3, but we'll let you off. Go on.
One of them is to come on a live ghost hunt with you.
Right. Oh, there's a few people asking for those. You got to write in because we are taking people now.
Yeah, I think they're absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
You know, I do believe in the other side.
Right.
You know, that there is something out there.
Right.
You know, we're
Right.
not just the only people on the planet. Right. Also, I would like to, do you know the big aeroplanes in the army?
The big aeroplanes in the army. You mean the ones that carry lots of like tanks and cars and stuff? The really big
I would love to do a bungee jump from one of them.
Oh, whoa, blame it, really? I don't know whether you can bungee jump from a plane, can you? I mean, you can parachute, but bungee jumping.
Yeah.
That would be a first.
Yeah, I would just give anything a go.
Yeah.
And the other one is do a paranormal lockdown.
Right. Where?
Go to like an abandoned building and just like stay the night.
Right, a whole night in a dark place, right?
A dark place, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's pretty good.
You know, because me and my son watched the one in America, and I think it's fascinating.
Right, that's good. Good stuff. Very well. I'm sure you'll be able to work them out. Anything else?
And also, me and my husband, my eldest son, and his mum went to a ghost hunt thing at the Castle Keep.
All right, yes.
It was about 2 or 3 years ago now. And we went right down into the dungeons, and we're all told to hold hands in a circle, and all the lights went off.
Right.
And you had to close your eyes, and it came to me, and I got pushed over.
Right.
And I'm usually not scared of anything like that, but that absolutely terrified us.
Right. Yeah, because everybody was holding hands, so.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, you take it seriously. At least you're ghost hunting in all the right places. We are going to be looking in similar places in the weeks and months to come, so it's going to be interesting. Hey, but thank you for coming on, Angela. Good to hear from you.
Okay, thank you, Alan.
No worries. Got a good selection tonight, haven't we? Dave from Sunderland is next. I tell you what. Can we hang on to Dave just for 5 minutes, if we can? The reason I say that is a little bit earlier, I promised you that I was going to share with you a couple of the other UFO-related things. Have you seen anything? What have you experienced? We want you to give us a ring on 0191 488 3188 and tell us your UFO-related stories, because there's been some incredible things like this.
It was a bright white light. It started flashing red and blue, and I thought, it's a plane. It's definitely a plane.
And is it static or is it moving?
It stayed still for about half an hour. So I will ask her to put her phone out and to try to get a video.
Right.
So she would record. It wasn't a very good video. It didn't show the colours or anything like that.
Yeah. But it goes red to white to blue kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was darting about the sky.
Right.
It was there for about an hour and a half.
Wow.
And it was going up to the right, and it was going down again. And I was thinking, this has got to be the worst pilot in the world if there's a plane, you know?
Right.
I can't really describe what it could be. I don't know what it might be. I just don't know. But it was moving that quick. And on this video our last talk, it looked like there was things sort of joining it from the bottom.
And what about communicating with an alien?
Lo and behold, this alien that just appeared
like a ghost.
What did he look like?
Well, it's hard to explain. I'll give you an example of what it looked like. It looked like, if you can imagine looking at your thumb now,
Right.
yeah, cut half your thumb off, so you've got half a thumb,
Gotcha.
and put 2 slits for eyes, just under your fingernail.
Right.
And
Did
then
he have arms?
No arms, no mouth, nothing. Just eyes.
Right.
All they wanted on him was information. You know, I could tell them certain things, but certain things I couldn't tell them. And that's when they really got nasty.
Were they speaking English? Because you mentioned they just had eyes. How were they communicating
they were
with you?
By thought.
By thought.
Yeah.
All right.
They took me to a place up in the moon, and these vast caves and corridors where they just hover around, basically.
So what about witnesses to an unidentified flying object?
At first it looked like a shooting star.
Right.
I thought it might have been a satellite, but all of a sudden it stopped, and then it started going like left and right, back and forward, left and right. I'm shouting at the wife to bring the camcorder out.
Right.
She's thinking I'm just being stupid. But to this day, me, my brother and my cousin definitely seen a UFO. It couldn't have been anything else. A plane can't fly like that, the speed it was going, and then all of a sudden it just shut off, and that was it. And to this day, I'm always looking in the sky whenever I pull over the car, just in case I can see it again.
Now, in America, they talk about however many percent claim to have been abducted. You don't hear a lot of that here, or do you?
It's really weird.
So you're sitting there in what you believe to be an alien craft. The grey creatures are around you with a skin similar to dolphin skin, with eyes that are very much a cross between X-Files and Steven Spielberg, because they do seem to be following a thread that is reasonably well documented. You're lying there. What are these spindly creatures doing?
They just sort of stand there and stare at you, and it's like you know the pupil of your eye. It's like the whole of their eye is like a pupil, and you just can't see where they're focusing.
Right.
But they were just like staring in my direction, and I'm just sitting there.
Not touching you, or touching you with anything?
Well, they walked round us a couple of times, and sort of, I don't know.
And were you conscious? Or were you in a sort of a dreamlike state?
I don't think I was supposed to be conscious, if I was. But I'm one of these strange people that bends spoons and things as a hobby, so I don't know if that's mucked it up or something. But
Right. And then the last memory before you find yourself back at home was what?
it was just being in the craft thing or whatever it was. Just
What else was there? What else could you see? You could see them.
absolutely nothing. I was on a table, and that's all I remember. I was
And
on
were
like,
you lit
Well, yeah, but I don't know where the light was coming from. It was like,
around you?
it was just everywhere. It was weird.
And this is something that has happened since when? When was the very first time?
I remember it from when I was quite young. I mean, the one I remembered most was only about a year ago or something like that, but I remembered a few before that. I think if you remember one, other things start coming back to me from other ones, and I think it started since I was about 5 or something.
Whoa. So this has been going on for, what, 7, 8 years?
Yeah.
Wow. What a story.
And still I can't prove it.
No, you can't.
Really annoying.
Well, that's the young lad telling a story. In this case, it's the story of a grandson who was abducted.
Rambling on about this big aeroplane in the sky that didn't move. It was just standing still, Nana, he says, above the houses, and then a little motorbike came to my bedroom window and took us on the back, and I went in up the steps, and I saw these people who weren't people. They were people, but not like us people. Right. That's the way he said it.
Yeah.
And I said, all right. But I didn't want to push it. So I says, right, and what happened? I says, well, you're not frightened? He says, no, he says, they were nice.
Right.
And then he said, and they brought us back and put us back into bed. So when we were going out to school, I tried to go, I said, you've been dreaming, man.
For somebody that's 4-year-old to come up with a story that's as complex as that, though.
Well, and then he says, I nearly died. I get in the car, and the little voice in the back says, see that house over there, Nana? I says, uh-huh. He says, see the end one? I says, uh-huh. He says, that's where it was, right there.
Whoa.
and it was like horizontal from their house. So when my son came back, I mentioned it. I said, did he watch space travel on the telly? He says, no, he watches them BB things.
Yeah, the cartoons.
Yeah. Because that's all he gets to watch, because he has a bedtime.
So where would he get a clue about spaceships and aliens and...
Well, my son reckons he wouldn't. He says there was nothing like that he had ever watched. He says there's nothing like that in my house. So, anyway, we decided between us to just cover it up, forget about it.
Yeah.
And over the years, that's what we've done. It's never been mentioned.
Right.
I mean, some of my family don't know about this. We just kept it to ourselves. About 3 weeks ago, my son had been talking about spaceships, because I mean, he's 17 now.
Sure.
He says, yeah, you all thought I hadn't seen one, but he says, I still remember.
Whoa! Get out of that if you can. And we tell you that the stars come out at night for us here on Greatest Hits Radio Northeast, and they do. Here's Eddie Grant talking about all things spooky. See what you make of this. Have you ever seen a ghost or had a strange spooky experience of any kind? Where have you? Because you've been all over the world.
I don't believe in spooky experiences. I believe that this world has many things that we don't understand, many dimensions of existence that we don't understand. We discover things, like we discover new drugs, we discover new technology, what we call new, but it's all there.
It's always been there.
Yes, it's always been there, and it just becomes apparent to ones or twos of us, that Bill Gates or the Steve Jobs or whoever these people are. Periodically they pop up. They're the ghosts.
Wonderful.
If you're wondering who Gwendolyn is, she's 127 years old. She's now part of the team.
And she's just lost sight in both eyes. So, did you move the torch? Let's keep it together.
There you go.
Now, you've got enough light there for me. Let's leave you two together. Fingers crossed, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody, Gwendolyn. Right. Let us head off and see what we will see. Now, I've just shut the door. You heard me shut the door.
We just saw you shut the door.
Sorry?
We just saw you shut the door, haven't we?
You hearing that? No, it's opening. Might be just what the door does. Now this is through to a happy, jolly parents, small children.
It's open for the router.
All right. But for small children, this is a house full of love. Very special parents. Lisa's lovely. Neil. And this is beautiful. The best mums have sticky floors, dirty ovens, and happy kids. And I believe that to be true. And yet, in a place like this, I'm feeling this is all right. I'm feeling this is clear. But we're told that if you come through here, which is like their kitchen dining room thing, and you probably noticed they're mad collectors of everything. Just got a noise there. Looks like Matilda and Buzz are doing very well. But it's through here. There's a strange anomaly. Now, when they found this originally, this is an underground tunnel, and they found some old paints there from the 1950s or 60s. You know, the kind of old-fashioned painting set that you used to get? Children. Again, we kept hearing about children, and we've heard children's voices. And it may well be that this originally could have been, even way out here, an old air raid shelter. So you step out of here and you're into the yard. You got to be careful because there's...
I'll just move the router so we can get that far out.
Okay.
1 second.
Hang on in there. Yeah, just leave it there. Oh.
Yeah, if you go back, your head's cut off.
That's all right.
That's
I look more attractive with my head cut off. We haven't got long. We've got to go up to the very, very top floor. The very top floor is the most active. It's where the stuff is. Is that you, Tony? Yeah. Ah, right. Just got to question everything. Sometimes. Hi, Kenny. Did you get anything?
There's like loads of noises.
Are you picking anything up on the camera?
I haven't seen any orbs yet, unusually.
Right. Well, hang on. Let's go out together. Because this is where that children's area was, and the buried, the hole. I know. But this is, we outside here, mind. Watch your step. I say it, 2 steps. 2 steps up. Be careful. Don't tip anything over. Now, they've got a few stars on the wall. Watch the table, it's right in front of you. You come around here. This is like a, you see the old walls. Jeebus. Now don't come any further, because I have. And Tony, if you could, oh, I'm washing lane. Make way for Tony.
I'm not sure how far I'm going to get.
Well, it's down here. Look down there. Kenny, you might be able to get the torch, the camera inside.
Yeah, I'm freezing, so I can't come much.
All right, go back then.
Yeah.
Step over.
Ooh,
To me.
You'll be able to see that on the night vision.
Right. Down there. They've blocked it up with stones to stop the dog getting in, but get down as low as you can. Because that's a... Are you seeing it now?
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing. So whether or not there's some story attached to down that whole back of the day, but why would they have one so far away from civilization is Allendale? That's the thing. So Kenny, would you be able to find your way back without killing yourself here?
I hope so.
Are you sure?
Hits Radio. You never know who's going to call next. 0191 488 3188.
Greatest Hits Radio.
And we have 5 clues for you. This is time for your competition. We're looking for a classic, greatest hit TV show. A strong wind is often described as something force. What's that? Second clue, the man most likely to sleep with a queen. Third clue, orange has it on the surface. Sometimes you grate it. Fourth clue, I taught what kind of cat? And the fourth clue, a horse in olden days was described as a trusty what? A horse in olden days was described as a trusty what? You've got all the clues now. What's the name of that classic TV? And before somebody says, That's before my time, Alan. It's on now. Watched an episode of this 2 days ago. So it's still on as we speak right now. But what's it called? And see just how clever you happen to be. Meanwhile, Dave from Sunderland is with us. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Alan.
Hello, then. What you got for us tonight, then?
I haven't been too good, Alan.
Oh, what's the matter? What's wrong?
I've been taking this medication for my bad back.
Right.
I've been taking some codeine phosphate.
Uh-huh.
Have you heard of them at all?
I've heard of it. It's supposed to be quite strong.
Yeah, it is. They've messed my system up completely.
Oh, did it? So did you need that? Was your back really hurting, was it?
Yeah, it hurts like mad every day.
Oh, right, that's not good. So
I've stopped taking them now.
Right, because it's messing your system. Is there any other painkiller you can take that will help with your back?
Not really. I can't take any ibuprofen, nothing at all.
Can you get like a back support that you could wear, maybe?
I'm going to ask the doctor when I see him on Friday.
Because sometimes wearing a bit of lower back support, and I know it's a bit like a corset, but if it helps, if it eases the pain.
Well, through taking them, I couldn't go to the toilet at all last week.
Oh, blimey. We were talking about constipation earlier. You couldn't wee either.
I could wee, but not the other.
You could, all right. That's constipation. That's nasty.
Now I've lost the urge to go.
Right.
I don't know when I need to go for one or not.
Well, that'll come. I tell you, probably when you least expect it, you're going to have to run a bit. So
And I've noticed on the morning, before I go the rest of the day, I've got to really push.
Right. Well, don't push too hard because that can cause you problems. I mean, your body will get back to normal again. It's just been messed with the tablets. Everything will fall into place soon enough.
The doctor's given us 50 sachets of laxatives.
50? Cheapest. Right. Well, I think that you should use one and see what happens.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
When you're having your breakfast, try and have something that helps you go.
I will.
You can get a lot of things like special K work, that kind of thing. You can also get natural things that'll make you go to the toilet as well. All you got to do is have a chat with anybody at your local health food shop, and they'll tell you what things are. They call them diuretics. You say, I need to go to the loo. What do you recommend? And they'll take you around the shop and show you natural things. Stuff that won't mess with the rest of your system.
Great.
That's the thing. So pop in next time you're there's. Do you know where your local health food shop is?
Holland and Barrett, yeah.
Holland and Barrett. They're exactly what I was thinking of. So they'll certainly help you. If any night owls know of any things as well, text in, ring in, let us know anything that you recommend. Me mother used to say, eating figs. You can sometimes get them from fruit shops. And dates used to work, and prunes, I think, are the other straightforward one. If you like prunes, get yourself a tin or get some fresh ones and chow away. And they will ease your system. It's just at the present moment, for whatever reason, those tablets have kind of frozen you up a little bit inside. Got to get that back to normal, because there's nothing worse than feeling all blocked up and heavy.
I was going to try the laxatives out of my ma.
What, without telling her?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's not. That's not funny. Well, it is funny actually, but don't do it. It'll. You got to look after your ma, because your ma looks after you. You see. Well, there you go. So you wouldn't want to do that. Right. Okay. So, anything else while you're on then, David?
I've been getting a couple of DVDs on it.
Oh, what are they then?
I just bought Mutiny on the Bounty.
Oh, the old-fashioned one. Is it the one with Mel Gibson in? Or
Yes,
is it
it is.
It is. Because there's an older one with Marlon Brando in. They're both good films, though. You'll enjoy them. Have you seen them yet?
I haven't.
All right, plenty of time. What's your other one then?
I've been getting one a couple of weeks back called Don't Drink the Water.
Don't Drink the Water. Is that like TV program, is it?
It is. It's a TV comedy like from the years ago. It's a following from on the buses.
All right.
Where Blakey lives abroad with his sister.
Right. I don't remember. I remember Blakey. I don't remember the follow-up series. But hey, enjoy all the same.
I've got another one. It's really good. It's called Lucky Fella.
Lucky Fella, and who's in that?
With
Anybody?
David Jason, Del Boy.
Oh, David Jason, right? Okay. I don't remember that either. But hey, glad that's part of is okay. Get the rest of it sorted out though, David, okay?
Thanks, Alan.
No worries. Thanks for calling. There you go. It seems we start with constipation. We're kind of still there all these hours on. We have Craig next, who's in Wallsend. Hi, Craig.
Hello, you all right?
Yes, I'm good, mate. What can we do for you?
Well, I rang up to give me answer for the quiz, basically, I did. But I was going to ask you a question about them. I seen on Wikipedia you're meant to be doing a Mars mission.
I applied for it. Everything's gone hugely quiet, but I did some of the initial tests, couple of interviews and like a fitness session with them and passed all of them. So I volunteered. I was their man.
So what would you do? Well, what would you do if you can? Would you be looking forward to it, or
a
bit worried?
At the very beginning, it was so far away it didn't seem likely, and then you get the thing back saying, "Can we ring you and book a phone appointment?" Mm-hmm. And I said yes. Then it all started to come a bit real, and so much time has passed now since I'm back in the place where you kind of shrug your shoulders because you're not sure anything's going to happen now. But the last thing that I was sent was, you're still in the mix for this, and we'll get in touch with you. And then the whole COVID thing kicked, and then everything went even more quiet. And I haven't heard anything from them for about 14 months now. So I think they're well past me and probably on with somebody else. But for a while, I thought I was on my way. And the plan was do something that I've always fancied doing, because everybody fancies space travel. I'm not a billionaire. I can't afford to buy a seat or anything. And I wouldn't just pop up, say, "Oh, there it is," and then come back to Earth. I'd say, if you're going to go. But,
check
you know,
everything out.
And
right into it.
broadcast the talk show live from Mars. Come on, you kind of beat that.
I've seen it says on the page, live from the Red Planet.
Why not?
I was a bit unsure about it. I thought, I wasn't sure if someone just put it in themselves, or you can edit it yourselves.
You say that jokingly to a newspaper. It features in the press and it's with you forever. But I did mean it as a joke, because if you were to talk to somebody from Mars, you wouldn't get the reply for about an hour and a half. So it would render the programme useless, if you know what I mean.
Well, to be fair with what that Elon Musk's doing now, it could change with no time, that, like.
I know. Hey, who knows?
Some leaps he's been doing, like, hasn't it?
Would you, hearing the way you're talking, though, it sounds like you would fancy going up, though, and giving it a go.
Oh, I'd love to. I've been back. Well, to be fair, I've a long time listener. To be fair,
Thanks,
I've listened to this for years because I've been listening with my mum and dad and things, and I've always been banging to UFOs, aliens, all the conspiracies. Like, I'm right amongst all that. Like, so I've jumped on the chance to be able to do something like that, like 100%.
Even though the first question they asked me was, you do realise the risk involved. And
you're pretty much sitting on a giant explosive, pretty much, aren't you?
But the thing is, if I nearly said if Bruce Willis didn't get away with it, but he didn't get away with it, did he? He ended up. Whoops!
No.
Picked the wrong example there, but
he turned out to be a ghost at the end, didn't he? That's a spoiler alert there, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But then again, it's just to get the chance to do something that you've never done, and other people.
Once in a lifetime thing. Well, at least in our lifetimes, isn't it?
Absolutely, that's the absolute thing. Anything else while you're on, then, Craig?
I'd like to give a quick shout out to my friends Bradley and Sean, who are listening as well, and also my family Craig, Jake, and Tracy, because they're listening as well.
Fantastic. Good talking to you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Right, perfect.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Last chance for the quiz is now. So call us immediately, if not even quicker. And an osteopath said the best thing for constipation is to walk, is what they're saying. So make sure you do that, David.